Hydro field cuts through my neighborhood.
Hey everybody. How are you? I'm your host Lucky.
Howdy.
And that's Steve.
What's up?
Welcome to another episode of Fearlessly Authentic. You want to come say hi? Come on.
Go say hi. Weirdo.
He like comes running over, like he knows. I don't know if it's the sound of the microphone being on.
Josh had a shitty day. He wants somebody to fight with. Will you fight with him?
No.
Put on your gloves. Take off your gloves. I don't know.
Look at Leo's collar though. Do you notice that who that matches? That collar?
Who?
I'm talking to Josh.
Oh.
Josh, remember I made the collar for Josh's
yeah.
dog?
Yes, I do remember.
And this was the leftover paracord. So I made Leo another like secondary collar.
Angela Sangster. She is not the gator in Decatur. Okay, everybody. That's just her street fighting name.
Oh.
Popped your shoulder out. Ow.
Oh.
I think I watched what is that movie? Die Hard. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to just like run into the door jam like really hard until it pops back into place.
Yeah, you know.
Like Bruce Willis did. You know?
I don't suggest taking his medical advice.
I am not a doctor, actually. Come to think of it.
No medical advice.
Nor am I a movie aficionado.
Yeah, no. No. We're not experts in those.
But I think it was Bruce Willis, if I'm remembering carefully.
Let's see. We got Miguel in here.
Miguel.
We got Angela. We got a Ghost Art. Lady Alex, I put one of the things that you emailed me. I put it in our for the show tonight, and something that Angela shared too.
Yeah, because it's all weird shit.
It is. Like it's all this stuff that's happening, and like I mean, you know, did you know Walmart is getting into tiny homes too? Like that's happening. We got the city bike thing happening. The thing that happened in New York City, like all this stuff like came out about it, and like. You know, at first it was like the lady's a Karen, and then she wasn't a Karen, and then now what is it? Oh man, we're gonna go over that.
Super Karen.
Yeah. What else do we have tonight? Oh my gosh, I have.
That lady is like Karen to the second power, or something. We're
gonna talk about like men breastfeeding and if men can lactate.
Blech.
I know. But it's an interesting thing that's happening. There's some other things that are happening with kids and parents that we're going to talk about. You know, some psyop type things, and you know we like gaslighting and weather and yeah, we got some stuff to talk about tonight. So, I guess we'll start out with the city bike. You know, most people.
That lady is fucking silly.
Most people know what kind of happened with the city bike and the lady.
Us,
so we're gonna do a little. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a little review and just catch everybody up, just in case.
In case you didn't have crazy bingo card with the lady stealing bikes.
Or did she?
Or did she? I'm all confused now. You're gonna have to go through the story slowly so we can all understand. Men can all lactate, but it takes a lot of hormones.
All right. Well, we're not getting to that yet. We'll get to
most of the things.
We will get to that. We will get to that.
That's not entirely incorrect.
Because I had to look that. I wanted to know more information about that. So we're going to start with the first section, which is about the New York City, the city bike, the issue with the woman trying to, like, you know, whether she was stealing or not stealing the bike. Whose was it? You know, because it became like this really divisive story. It was like, oh, you know, she was a Karen, and then it was and racist, and then it was, oh, well, maybe she's not, and then maybe she is, and there's a lot happening with this story. It's gone back and forth, and I have a couple different articles to cover on this. So this is the New York City hospital. Karen denies trying to steal city bike from a young black man, and this young black man is a 17-year-old. And this happened. This article came out on the 15th of May. So you might have already heard about it. You might have heard everyone have their commentation, you know, commentators all talk about it, whatever. Mm-hmm. I haven't really brought it up, like, you know, but new information's come out that I feel like people need to have that current information. So a Bellevue hospital employee was accused of trying to hijack a city bike that had allegedly already been paid for by a young black man. However, the employee has claimed that she paid for the bike, and second one, that she was forced to take out, and her lawyer has receipts showing just that. So this woman, like, the video went viral. Like, it was crazy. So a clip of the chaotic encounter posted Saturday, which was, you know, earlier in the month, gained over 6.8 million views on Twitter as commentators blasted the white woman who is seen wearing a New York City health and hospital scrubs for allegedly trying to make a scene and paint the young man as a threat. You know, she yelled, help me, you know, all this. She tries to get the attention of people passing by. She, like, at one point starts crying. You know, you can see her hand and her, you know, her face in her hand, and she starts crying, and then she stops crying. And most people have seen the video footage of this and this lady. So yeah, oh, there's her crying with her hand. Aww. And there, you know, and she's like, I'm pregnant, and, you know, like, it's a whole thing.
Trigger warning.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So people were outraged at her, and then they were outraged at him, who's a 17-year-old kid. So, like, there was a lot of, like, you know, back and forth between everybody about this whole incident, and, like,
a lot of outrage.
Oh my gosh, it was insane.
It was outrageous.
It was really crazy. Back and forth, like this, really, like, oh, people were pissed. And if you looked at it from either one of those angles, it could be seen as that, right? Like, it could be seen as, like, wow, he shouldn't have done that. And then it could be seen as another way where, you know, she shouldn't have done that. Depends on what side of that story you heard and when you heard about it. Because not everybody's on Twitter and paying attention like that.
True.
So I think this one, I can play a few minutes of it if we want to recap everybody. This is a NBC, I think.
WNBC.
New York hospital employee seen in a viral video preparing to take bike from a young black man has receipts showing she rented it, her lawyer says. So, like, her lawyer stepped in and was like, no, she has receipts that she purchased this bike. All right, let me make sure that I add it to the screen, and we can play the video on this one. Oh. Make sure.
To her claiming A tussle over a city bike gone viral. The 90-second clip shows a hospital worker, Sarah Comrie, straddling a two-wheeler. A man next to her claiming it's his.
Not your bike.
Please help me. This footage led the woman's employer, New York City Health and Hospitals, to put the woman on leave as it conducts an investigation. Now her attorney told us she's getting bombarded with threats.
Every part of that story is incorrect, starting with my client is not a racist. 2, my client did not take anybody else's bike.
Justin Marino says the proof is in the receipts that we examined. They show a rental for a bike of 560-3915 that lasted 1 minute. We froze the video to get a good look. The code on the bike that they both want reads 560-3915. We asked City Bike to confirm her rental and if anyone else reserved it around that time. Marino says that's impossible.
That confirms that the bike she was on was definitively rented by her.
We don't know for sure what happened before this video started. Marino says on Saturday, Comrie wrapped up a 12-hour shift at Bellevue, walked up to that rack, paid, and then pulled the bike back. He says that's when the men approached. About 30 seconds in, the 6-month pregnant woman says this.
I'm not touching you.
A comment that's led to online heckling, along with this moment where she cries.
How dare you, judge someone in that circumstance based on the conditions that she was going through at that time?
We don't know who the men in the video are. The NYPD reiterated today that there are no 911 calls or reports on file for this incident, and it's asking anyone who thinks that they were victimized to come forward. Marino says that his goal is to challenge the narrative and clear her name.
There was nothing other than the difference in skin color that suggests race had anything to do with it.
The video ends with Comrie getting on another bike. Marino gave us that receipt as well. He says it proves she rode that bike home.
We're hoping that, her employer is not going to violate her rights, and if they do, they'll be added to the people that we sue.
Today, outrage is building in Mississippi after a young boy was shot by police. That boy is alive.
Okay, so that was like the original, that was the attorney, that was the original story, is that, she showed the receipts that she had the bike and everything else. Right? So it seemed like it was cut and dry. But I want you to notice that in that video though, that you saw 2 different kinds of bikes there. That's important. Because there's 2 different, there's a couple different kinds of bikes that these city bikes are. So let me pull up the next part. And this woman has amassed a pretty good size GoFundMe. She's doing really well with that. Over this incident. And here is another mainstream media outlet reminding us that it reminds us why we shouldn't rush to judgment for things. They're telling us, they're scolding us to not rush to judgment.
Don't rush to judgment.
Yeah. How nice is that?
You big judgment rushers.
So let's see what kind of judgment did they rush to?
I pass judgment.
Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? So the young boy, the 17-year-old, his sister has come out and spoken out about the incident that happened. All right, let me see. Where is... here it is. And I have an article. This is just recent. And this is where more information comes out. Remember, they're telling us to not rush to judgment. Well, I I honestly don't think that these journalists are doing their job. I don't think so.
They took their job. Sorry.
So this is the mother that this is spoken out against in this article. But the sister also did TikTok videos also explaining things. But this is New Sun. This is from May 25th, 2023. The mother of the teen in the city bike video speaks out. No one bothered to ask him what happened. So, like, yeah, make sure you don't rush to judgment, but like, don't ask the 17-year-old. Don't ask him.
Circle back for judgment.
Yeah. An exclusive interview with News One. The 17-year-old refused to give up his bike to Sarah Jane Comfrey, and she's been rewarded for her antics while his family are suffering. Like, so what does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Please elaborate.
I'm going to. Mary and Michael are eager to talk to me, but Betty, their mother, is reluctant to let Michael speak with anyone. He's only 17. He's my baby, Betty says. He's a senior in high school. This is on the thing, right? Yes. Okay. I clicked the wrong thing. He's a senior in high school. He should be planning to attend his prom and looking forward to walking the stage at his graduation in a few weeks. But instead, she and his family have spent the last week and a half living in turmoil. So what's going on with this team? Boy, I thought he stole a bike from a pregnant woman. Should he be living in turmoil? Well, Michael is a teen in the infamous city bike video with Sarah Jane is it Connery? The woman who has been accused of weaponizing whiteness and her tears in an effort to take the bike from the teen in New York City. Betty has seen video after video of racists and trolls calling her son a thug, a thief, labeling him as a man. In her words, he's just a boy. It hurts her that people are saying these things that she knows are not true about him. So she's upset because she says the narrative has been one-sided. No one bothered to contact us or find out Michael's story. She said in a low voice during the interview on Wednesday, they write all these things about him, but no one bothered to ask him what happened or look at his receipts. Oh, yeah.
He had receipts?
Yeah, because,
ironic.
Obviously, if you heard about this from, like the mainstream spin, it was very one-sided. And this woman was just pregnant and he just was going to steal her bike. So
as usual,
Michael interjected, that's because they have my side of the story. She doesn't have a case. Mary agreed with him, saying, right. Throughout the entire 50-minute interview with Betty and her children, she had her phone out watching video after video of conservatives and racists saying negative things about her baby. She is afraid that someone will try to harm her son or her family. No one is helping us, she said, her voice crackling. We are poor people. We are immigrants. We can't afford a lawyer. Mary, who is 24, and Michael told her mother now that this is their chance to tell his story. Betty agreed, only on the condition that their names are changed to protect their identities. I don't want anything to happen to my family, Betty said. And do you know what I mean? So it goes into saying a Bronx tale. Mary and Michael live with their parents and another brother in an apartment in Bronx. Mary and Michael were born in the U.S., but their parents are immigrants from West Africa. Mary and her other brother and both parents work to help contribute to the family income. We live in the Bronx, but my brother spends a lot of time in Harlem, Mary said. He has friends there. So on May 12th, the date of the incident, Michael and 4 other teenagers rode bikes from the Bronx to Harlem. And see that? You can see this receipt right here. And it's dated May 12th, 2023 at 5:53 p.m. Now that time frame is really important right there because this is at 5:53. The other incident happened at, I think it was 7:24. I'm sure they'll get into the exact time, but right here, this right here, and that bike number, that is that same bike number that identifies, and you can see it's the white bike. And that bike matters, like in the actual, why is it $0 even though he went that far and that far? I let's see if they explain that. So there was no, because there's a member. See right here, non-members would pay $8.85. His member fare was $0 because he's a city bike. He's an extreme city bike rider. Mary said proudly. He is in a group called City Bike Angels that send out free stuff to people who have accumulated a certain amount of points. And my brother has been a frequent city bike rider since 2020 or 2021. So like he earned that, right? Michael said it's a regular route with him and his friends. They meet up in the Bronx, find new e-bikes City Bike has out, and ride them all over New York City. And then this goes into the understanding of how City Bike works. So I use City Bike every day, Michael said. I use the bikes to get to and from school if I'm traveling anywhere in the city, even if it's here from here to Brooklyn. My first option is City Bike. It's my preferred mode of transportation. It's like my car, he added. Michael said he and his friends, who are all from immigrant West African families, understand City Bike and all of its programs. They use them because for teenagers like themselves, it's cheaper option than taking a subway from borough to borough. So that makes sense, right? Like that's what they would use. Michael said that the day they walked around the Bronx for 20 minutes before they found the highly coveted, hard to find new e-bikes. Now, see, that's why I was like hinting at, like, what is the specific bike that he had?
Why is it so difficult to find? Because they're new.
Yeah, and well, because everyone wants the e-bikes because they're, that's faster.
You don't got to pedal.
Yeah. So I think it like helps you pedal. Like I think you still have to pedal, but like it's more powered with you. But so they took the bikes to Harlem first, where they stopped riding after 45 minutes. Michael explained that because his family receives some public assistance, he gets a discount on city bike rides. But after 45 minutes, the rate on the bikes increase. So he said he pays for his own City Bike account, and in order to avoid the higher charges, he frequently stops his rides before they go over the 45 minutes to rest, redock the bike, and redocking the bike resets the timer. So allowing him to ride for another 45 minutes before stopping again. And so that's really important right there, because you have to, check it in, you have to bring it back and dock it, or else you're going to get charged. So even regular City Bike riders do this. Because the price goes up after 45 minutes for everyone. So people routinely ride their bikes, dock their bikes, ride their bikes, and dock their bikes again. Like it's just a normal, thing that they're constantly doing. And then so right here, this next receipt, it shows so now we're at 6:08 p.m. and it has the same numbers and $0. Thank you for riding with us. So, and it shows he went from 6:08 to 6:30, and then he gets to lock his bike and unlock it again. So the encounter that happened with Sarah Jane, Michael said after resting in Harlem for a bit, the boys continued riding into the Lower East Side of Manhattan. They grabbed frozen yogurt, and then they headed to the City Bike docking station at First Avenue and 30th Street near Bellevue Hospital in the Kip Bay neighborhood. They docked their bikes at 7:19 and sat there to rest. Michael insisted that he and his friends never left the bikes unattended. They didn't leave the bikes. Michael said all four of his friends also have the same city bike reduced fare membership. So they docked the bikes to stop timers from going over 45 minutes.
Right.
I mean, it makes complete sense, right? Like this is something that you do. So 4 of the boys were sitting on the bikes as they rested, but Michael was standing next to his with his hands on the handlebars. And they were there for a few minutes when that lady, Sarah Jane, came over and she approached their group. She initially asked one of Michael's friends if she could take the bike he was resting on. He politely declined, informing her that they were going to be leaving shortly and using the bikes again. So she next approached a different boy in the group and asked him the same thing, and he politely declined as well. So he was standing with his hands on his handlebars, and I guess she asked for his bike. He said, no, I'm about to take it back out because this is just their regular thing. And so she then says, I'm pregnant. Can you help a pregnant woman out? Michael said he told her, I'm sorry, ma'am. I've ridden this bike all the way from the Bronx. I need this bike to go back home. Michael says that when Sarah Jane moved closer to him and his bike leaned over him and scanned the QR code with her phone, even as he had his hands on the handlebars. Oh my gosh. Then she pushed her way onto the bike and attempted to remove it from the docking station and take it. It was 7:24. So that's when the boys began recording. You can hear them in the video calling for someone to record Sarah Jane at the beginning of the footage. If someone is using something, Mary interjected empathetically, there are obvious, physical clues to let you know when something is in use or someone is planning to use something. And that's absolutely true. And if you see that they're all there, like as a group, and they're all like, they have the same type of bikes and just, you know what I mean? Like it's because apparently there was other bikes on that rack. She wanted that particular bike because it was the one that they looked around for. Like they were like, no, we found this. So Michael insisted that he knew that Sarah knew he was planning to use the bike. He said she asked him and his friends to use theirs, and they informed her they were using the bikes and they would be leaving shortly. So he said she seemed annoyed that they wouldn't willingly give up their bikes to her. So he also said he believed she wanted the bike as opposed to the others that remained docked in the rack because he had one of the newer e-bikes. So the rest of the interaction plays out in the video, and she's dressed in scrubs and everything like that. Let's see. So the boys can be heard repeatedly telling her it's not her bike during the film part that I played a few minutes ago. And then Michael said that Sarah Jane noticed him doing this. She snatched the phone out of his hand, which is shown in the video. And that's why you see that like 37-cent ride charge is because it's because it got docked right back in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's going on and saying that, that they tried to steal it from her. But that's the thing, is that the timestamp doesn't add up. And this right here is from her attorney, Justin Marino. So we previously redacted the first part of the receipt and just for her safety and blah, 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 because they wanted to show that you can see it's 724 to 725. So he has the receipts too. And then at 725, he got, this is his receipt.
Yeah, it is a totally inane and stupid fucking story on its face, except they just like made it out.
It's hurting the black boy, the 17-year-old black boy. That's who it's hurting.
That's exactly who it's hurting. The fact is that it's just
a child.
It's just another
He's
child
underage.
being messed with. You know what I mean? It's gross. And that lady should be ashamed of herself. That nurse who's like all, fucking crying alligator tears and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here with your fucking bullshit story. And then the MSM and the indie media as well all just go along for the ride. It's like, yeah, that's the way it was.
Yeah. Everybody like joined up, like, you know what I mean? And like I didn't see anything. I kept going. Where's the rest
of this story?
Where is his perspective of this? I'm like, I can't report on like all of this that is happening without actually like finding more information, because I'm like, we're not getting the whole story here. This can't be all of it.
And Shirley, stop calling me Shirley. It wasn't. It isn't.
I mean, so instead of this young man who should be like, you know, like his mother said in the beginning of this story, in this article, he should be getting ready for prom and, you know what I mean, like doing like normal kid stuff. You know, like kids have already been deprived of things because of everything else that we're not going to get into right now, especially being on YouTube. But like everything else that the kids have gone through and all the lockdown and everything else, it's like you know, like this kid's out actually getting exercise, doing what he needs to do, hanging out with his friends, and this woman comes across him and thinks that she can do that, and like now his entire life is upside down.
That's just bullshit in the first place, that she thinks that it's okay to portray herself in that light in the first place, and then to capitalize on it and start a GoFundMe and make lots of money.
Yeah, her GoFundMe is at $142,000.
$142,000. She should just shut the fuck up and go buy a fucking e-bike and you know, never rent one again.
You know what? Fuck? I bet you, and I'll pull up her actual GoFundMe too. I bet you like people are gonna get pissed, and if they find out this truth, you know, but the news, they tell us, oh, don't be so quick to judge when it comes to these stories. Well, you know what? They didn't do their job.
Yeah. There was no vetting of the information whatsoever. Nobody asked the kid to see his fucking receipt. Like, you would think whoever handled it, the first interaction, would be like, well, let me see your receipt. Let me see your receipt. What does it say? Oh, well, here's the discrepancy. That's not actually your bike. This is a different kind of bike. Da 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 da. An end of story. It would be
the fact that he has receipts for it ahead of time,
right? And that she's like trying to capitalize on this thing, like she's been victimized.
Yeah, poor her.
Fucking
when she was obviously, you know, and her attorney also says in it that like, oh yeah, this is the TikTok right here where his sister replies, and someone else, this guy, Tizzy ENT, it looks like, that he covered her story of it, and I'll have all the links if you guys want to check these out and everything.
At least he has his big sister to thank for fucking having, you know, for being brave enough to just confront this shit head on and be like, I don't give a fuck what you think about this. These are the facts. Nobody asked for the facts in the first place. They just had their spin, and into the news cycle it goes.
Yeah, and look, this is the return right here, 9:48 p.m. So like, you know, like he used the bike and he did his thing and he has all of his, you know, receipts for it. But the story's already been spun and people have already made their judgments on this.
Sent her $100,000 because they think she was victimized.
Yeah,
that's nuts, man.
And she's not the victim here.
She's not the victim at all. She should just kick that money right down to that kid.
Yeah, he should get that for going to
everybody should get their money back. That's some fucking horse shit, man.
Yeah.
That's just not okay.
So I will show you guys. This is her actual GoFundMe. It's 124. I don't know if I said 142. If I said 142, I meant 124 because I'm dyslexic and we know that.
And we screw up numbers and lettuce.
So $124,270.
You still got a half a joint, you son of a bitch. Put it in the mailbox immediately and ship it to me when I want to confirm its veracity. I don't believe your story, sir. Do you have a receipt for that half a joint?
So yeah, this story kind of like went like way over the top, and this woman is manipulating people, and she thinks because she's pregnant that she can just manipulate people and cry wolf and whatever. And this poor kid who's only 17, you know, is the one getting harassed and getting told like, you know, he was aggressive or all these things. Like there's all kinds of stuff flying around about this poor kid. Who, to me, I don't think that it's not what she said it was.
Popeye, definitely there is an R. Crumb cartoon about that very thing and a lot of things. If you look into the R. Crumb, He was very prolific.
So I thought that was like really, really interesting that how that all happened and how it like evolved. And I was just kind of like sitting back, like watching it. Like sometimes I'm like these stories, I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. Like something's going on here. Is it how it appears? And people really jump to conclusions without getting all the evidence.
That's the problem.
It happens so much.
Wait, there's a page to help someone not being labeled a Karen? It's funny. Funny stuff. Yeah.
So, it's just a reminder, let's not jump to conclusions.
Don't jump to conclusions.
So, speaking of pregnancy,
jump to delusions.
I know. Jumping to conclusions brings you delusions.
We could jump right to that delusion.
So I came across something really interesting. I thought, wow, like that was really cool. And it kind of it goes along because this is about pregnancy and what happens during pregnancy.
Well, you makes a baby. That's what happened.
Well,
that's when the baby's made.
Well, what happens is so this I haven't maybe if Lady Alex is in here, she'll be able to tell us if this is particularly true. It seems pretty feasible. So when pregnant, the cells of the baby migrate into the mother's bloodstream and then they circulate back into the baby. It's called fetal maternal I don't know how to say that. Chimerism? How do you say that, Steve?
Where is it?
It's the first sentence there.
When pregnant, the cells of the baby migrate into the mother's bloodstream and circle back into the baby. It's called fetal maternal microchimerism. Chimerism? Microchimerism.
MICRO?
Is it a hard C or a CH? Lady Alex knows because she knows words like that.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just thought it was really an interesting thing because that city pregnant lady was, 6 months pregnant. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a segue. We can use this. So for 41 weeks, the cells circulate and merge backwards and forwards after the baby. And after the baby is born, many of these cells stay in the mother's body, leaving a permanent imprint on the mother's tissues, bones, brain, and skin, and often stay there for decades. Every single child a mother has afterwards will leave a similar imprint in her body too. Even if a pregnancy doesn't go to full term, or if you have an abortion, these cells still migrate into your bloodstream. And research has shown that if a mother's heart is injured, fetal cells will rush to the site of the injury and change into different types of cells that specialize in mending the heart. The baby helps repair the mother while the mother builds the baby.
That's like some what do you call that? Like fucking AI shit going on. What the hell is that? That's like magic human AI magic repair potion stuff happening with you.
And it says it is very often why certain illnesses vanish while pregnant. It's incredible how mothers' bodies protect the baby at all costs, and the baby protects and rebuilds the mother back so that the baby can develop safe and survive. Think about crazy cravings for a moment and what the mother is deficient in that the baby made them crave. Like that. It's just such a cool thing. It's such interesting thing to think about. That like
it's pretty weird
that your baby's repairing you.
It's pretty funky. So Lady Alex is like, so I have 3 of my aborted babies inside me now, the DNA of them.
Well, it says like up to so says studies have shown that cells from fetuses in a mother's brain 18 years after they gave birth.
Huh.
So 18 years later, I mean, I don't know if they've studied how long or if they've really studied this too much, but I wanted to put this out there and see if you guys had heard about it. And I just thought it was really interesting.
Well, for the last 18 years, what happens after 18? Then the baby moves out.
Well, they just said that the studies have shown cells from the fetus in the mother's brain 18 years after. So, like, I mean, how are they checking the mother's brain? I don't know how those studies are working, but it is something cool that I thought, like, wow, this little nugget was out on the internet. Let me just share this with you guys.
Lady Alex named her aborted fetuses Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod.
Oh my God. That might not be appropriate.
That's inappropriate completely.
Oh my God.
There's a light directly above our heads that just reads inappropriate when we say inappropriate stuff, and it just went off when Lady Alex said that. So.
I still laugh though.
It's still funny.
You know,
studies show it's still
inappropriate can still be funny, right?
Science has shown us that inappropriate behavior can oftentimes be very funny. It's true. Oh, babies are just like cats. There's a virus in their poop that makes you love them. That's what Mouse said. So
wow,
I believe it.
That might be misinformation.
That could very well be. That also might be inappropriate.
That might be inappropriate.
Let's consult the light. Steve Wolfbrand.
So this kind of segues me into something that's a little bit odd, right? It brings us to a different place. It brings us to more current times, right?
Ghost starts triggering me back to the fucking was it Ghost Star who did it? Wait a minute. It's moving too fast now. I can't keep up. He said crystal blue conclusions instead of crystal blue persuasion. I had a fucking, what do you call it? Breaking Bad moment. Sorry.
I don't know how to like transition from like, you know, a mother exchanging with her cells, with her baby, and how it lasts to a long time, and the magic of that.
It's amazing.
Too.
What else you got?
So this is something that I've been picking up on people coming out about. About this person that is a transgender, identifies as a woman and is on hormones, so is a transgender person who is on so many hormones that they are lactating.
Well, is that really the correct term? Stuff is dripping out of their nipples, to be sure, but I don't know if I would call it lactating.
Well, actually, I looked into this a little bit.
Is that the terminology, the proper terminology?
That would be the proper terminology.
When stuff leaks out of your nipples, it's lactating?
Yeah.
No matter what it is?
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was some kind of chemical byproduct from near I could tell.
So this is the person right here. This is their original tweet, and I did actually go to their page, their Twitter page, and show that and look at this. So this person is pumping and also breastfeeding a baby. Mm-hmm. And the problem that I have with this, okay, let me go into this first, and then I'll explain a little bit more. So Naomi is a man. This is according to this person's thread right here. Okay, so they're a man who pumped themselves full of hormones that their body secretes some kind of whitish liquid, undoubtedly some mixture of things, and undeniably dangerous to feed to a child. Now that is where I'm concerned. I am concerned about the child, because this isn't something that typically does happen. I looked up male lactation because I wanted to understand where this, where this come from, like how to even address this, because it's not about, for me, it's like, if you pump your body full of 3 or 4 times the regular amount of hormones, and you are biologically a male, and you do that with female hormones and stuff, like this happens. This is a side effect that is a known side effect that happens. But I didn't think anyone would want to go and take all the synthetic hormone lactation and feed it to a child. Like that's that right there. That's where it bothers me, is that it's then being fed to a child.
Again, the child being fucking fucked with. Like that is the constant theme of these things. Like, oh, that trans person's like, I can breastfeed because I got fucking stuff coming out of my boobs.
And they have an OnlyFans where they're calling it cow achievement.
Yeah, well, they're cows now. Okay.
And they're dressing up in cow outfits.
So they're having a bovine time. Is that what you're saying?
I just don't think kids need to be involved with this. I feel like, when it comes to, pregnancy and breastfeeding, as a mom, as, a female that went through, I had miscarriages and I was always really careful. You don't take drugs while you're pregnant.
Whistles.
You're not supposed to take stuff while you're pregnant because it can pass on through to the baby and it can pass through breast milk.
As titillating as this conversation is,
if you're getting breast milk that is induced from synthetic hormones that are 3 to 4 times the level of what you should have, than even a biological woman would have, then I would say that's probably not safe for a child. They're saying that Tylenol causes autism or something. Like there's always like all these things, like, you're super careful if you're pregnant, like you're supposed to be, at least. Like
Epic said, you can.
Everything comes with a warning label on it. Like every medication, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, don't take this or consult a doctor. You know what I mean? Like
you can also overdose if you have too many hormones.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's too many hormones if you got fucking milk coming out of your fucking moobs, dude.
Well, it's really dangerous because of these hormones. It also affects their liver, so it could be affecting this person's liver. But I'm more concerned about the fact that there's an innocent child involved with this, and that they're feeding this breast milk or secretions to the child.
That person looks really creepy. I'm sorry. I have a real aversion, because it kind of reminds me of like this one lady I used to know and my friend Bill, and they're both like, it's like they morphed them together and made breast milk, and it's unsettling. That's what it is.
So I don't care what, adults want to do with adults. But when you want to involve a child and you want to then feed a child something that's coming out of your body like that I don't know that that's safe. And I don't know what the long-term effects on that child will be. And this is their links. They have links to their OnlyFans. If you're interested, and if this is your thing. See the cow horns and the bell? Do you see that this is a cow outfit?
Yeah. Like
those are cow ears, pink and white.
It's like,
cow.
Just explain the anatomy of it. Like we've said it in the chat a few times now, but the fact is that males do not produce breast milk.
No, males do not produce breast milk. What happens is during puberty, with the natural female hormones, it actually like kind of basically activates the glands that are in the breast, and that's what makes a female have milk ducts that are not like a male typically does not have milk ducts that are like able to produce anything.
Yeah, there's no glands attached to it. It's like,
well, it's because you don't have the hormones that kind of trigger that, right. And it comes from the pituitary gland and all that. And we're gonna talk about that because I wanted to to really understand like, well, can men, because like I don't know, can men lactate? And so I found out that men can lactate, and they have. So there will be a link to this person's account. I'm not giving it to you to harass them, but if you're looking for further information, I will have it in the show notes below. not asking you to harass anybody or say anything, but they do have a link that does have some studies about lactation in trans women. I don't think that there's probably any studies that show long-term effects of a trans woman producing milk with synthetic hormones. So if you wanted to further look into this, there's more information that can be found, and there'll be links in the show notes. It just
nice set, Mouse.
It just seems like this is more than like, I don't know. This is just, so I was like, all right, I need to know, can men lactate? Like that's my next kind of question in this whole thing is, can men do that? So yeah, I found out that men can, and we're going to explore that a little bit because I can't talk about a transgender person lactating without figuring out the biology of what is happening behind it. So this is from Mental Floss from February 26th of 2015, and the link will be below. So this was interesting. So it was earlier this month. So this was back in, what did I just say, 2015? Yeah. So this is February 2015 that they're referring to. The United States Supreme Court declined to hear a sex discrimination case from an Iowa woman who wanted to pump milk at work. The court's reasoning: it's not sexist to tell women they can't lactate at work because men can also lactate. So, which is, it's really possible for men to lactate. It can happen naturally. As it turns out, it can, yes. And it's more likely in human men than the vast majority of mammals. So that said, don't worry, fellas, you're highly unlikely to start sprinkling milk out of the blue. But let's start with why women and not men lactate routinely in appropriate circumstances. As you might suspect, the cause is genetic. So 22 of the 23 pairs of human chromosomes are identical, with a 23rd pair the only set that differs between the sexes. So the genes on the chromosome 23 acting in concert with the genes on other chromosomes ultimately determine all differences between our sexes. So wrote Pulitzer Prize winner and one-time psychologist Jared Diamond in a 95 article for Discover. Those differences, of course, include only the possession of ovaries as opposed to testes, but also the post adolescent differences in beards, pitch of voice, and breast development. So, it all happens during the lovely puberty, that lovely time that everybody...
That lovely, erratic, crazy time.
Oh,
hormones and maladjustment.
I know.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, everybody, most people go through this crazy time.
I'm hoping my milk comes in before fall so we can have some ice cream Sundays. We'll make some ice cream Sundays.
I don't want your milk, Steve. Sorry.
It's Stever cream, Stever delicious. Stever
I reject your Stever cream
I'm
milk.
not fapping, you are.
Okay. All male and female mammals have mammary glands.
Glands.
So yeah, both of us have them, which is the organ that produces milk. When mammary glands mature fully in females during puberty, they develop into a state where a normal spike, most notably of prolactin, can easily induce lactation for males. The gland generally doesn't mature to that level. So
I reject your Stever cream.
Did you ever think I would say that? I didn't.
Mammary
I
glands.
say that. Okay. So the difference is a matter of hormonal influences, first during puberty and then again after pregnancy. Men do have the necessary equipment, but usually they don't naturally produce the necessary levels of hormones to use it. Provide the right hormones, though, and the male lactation is absolutely possible. Well, why? Well, okay, then if it's so safe, then why aren't we making men breastfeed these babies?
I can't believe it's not breast milk. Yeah. What the fuck? Thanks for the damn raise.
One way to do this is through medical intervention. There's a number of ways this can be done, but generally you need to introduce both estrogen and prolactin into the system, often by injection. Some drugs like Thorazine.
Woo! Thorazine shuffle, baby.
Yeah, that's what that, yeah. And antipsychotic, popular in the mid 20th century, and the heart medication dioxin. It have induced milk from men as side effects. But how can men develop milk naturally? They just really want you to be able to do it naturally. You can hear it. You can hear it in this article. There's like, men need to be able to develop milk. Okay. So the circumstances, as you might guess, are rare. One way to introduce lactation for men is starvation. So this, I thought was really interesting. During World War II, thousands of men reported lactation while held as prisoners, either in Japanese POW camps or Nazi concentration camps. When a person is malnourished, the hormone producing gland, such as the pituitary gland, which generates prolactin, are impeded, but so too is the hormone destroying liver. If proper nourishment is later provided, the glands recover much more quickly than the liver. Oh my God. Causing hormone levels to skyrocket. So it's also possible that something could target the pituitary gland and cause it to produce more prolactin. As a breastfeeding expert, Jack Newman notes a tumor on the pituitary gland could have this effect. So, that's something to be aware of. If you're a man and you start lactating, then there might be something wrong with your pituitary gland. Good information.
Hey, watch your mouth over there, pituitary, huh?
They're also a camp with scientific community that thinks men can lactate merely through nipple stimulation. In 1978, medical anthropologist Dana Raphael claimed as much in her book, The Tender Gift, Breastfeeding. Medical College of Georgia endocrinologist Robert Greenblatt later agreed with Raphael. Diamond 2 thinks this is possible. Wow. Like, I never thought, about stimulating men's nipples enough to make them lactate.
Yeah, please never try to do that. I'm not interested.
You don't want the nipple stimulation.
I don't know what kind of stimulation that entails.
It could happen with a woman too, I would think, but it would have to be a lot. I've
been told that real man milk is good for acne. Is this true?
It does happen. It does happen where women can get milk to come in that didn't have, like a baby. If you're around a pregnant woman, there can be certain triggers that happen. Stop, Steve. Don't do that. I don't know if I'm telling that story.
Tell the story.
I don't know if I'm ready to tell that story on the internet.
Come on now. It's weird stories from the internet.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to tell my weird story from the internet.
It's pronounced interwebs, but okay.
So most adoptive mothers, for instance, began lactating with 3 or 4 weeks of adoption, suggesting mere stimulation can induce enough hormonal action to produce milk. The same has reportedly happened to men, including a 38-year-old man in Sri Lanka, who in 2002 nursed his 2 daughters through infancy after his wife died during childbirth. So, I guess you could make it happen. I guess it's not like that, rare and out of the ordinary.
There's a slurry of hormones in man juice. No, thank you. I just don't want it to come out of my nipples. That's really the problem.
It's just the nipples,
yeah, because I'm used to like weird slurry coming out of my penis. That's fine. The other thing is just weird. Mouse, my diamond tip bra keeps all the boys wondering. Is he lactating? Has his milk come in yet? I know that's what I would be wondering.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see. I breastfed, so I naturally got milk in after I had Skyla. I breastfed Skyla for 2.5 years. I was like super careful about what I put in my body, and things go through the breast milk too. Like you can taste, like if a mother eats like a bunch of like onions or something, to say, like, or garlic, something that's like a really strong taste, that you can actually like smell it in the breast milk, and the babies can actually like taste it.
They said hormones. Go Start says the funniest shit. Weird Slurry is the name of the new breast milk friendly band, everybody. So I
am a circle of life.
Right.
Yeah, I that's my like superpower, right? Like I say, my superpower is not only did I grow a human, and then I made the milk to feed it. Like that's my superpower.
I can just remember like 12 verses to a Bob Dylan song. That's my superpower.
Yeah.
I don't have any other ones.
So there's another article. I'm not gonna have to, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but it basically goes through the same things. They talk about again the World War II prison camp survivors that survived months of starvation. And they made milk. So, it can happen. And I thought that was interesting. I don't think it's okay to, have a bunch of forced lactation or hormonal lactation and then go and feed a child if it's synthetic and all of that. And, like we need to be careful what we're doing to children, like what's happening. So like, and I think this would be a more appropriate thing if people are trans women and they want to be able to breastfeed, right? Then we should be inclusive and they should be able to do that. Or even women that can't breastfeed, or, not every woman does breastfeed.
Sure.
There's lots of circumstances to everything. But there's this video I'm gonna play, and this is how men can breastfeed. Where's the thing for it? Why is it black?
Hard to say.
Well,
just click it. See if it starts.
Well, I refreshed it. There it goes.
There it goes.
Okay. What the heck? No, I can't see it. I went black again.
Yeah, it's got to reload. It'll do its thing. It should come on when it's ready to come on. CNET is a weird page, though. I always have weird. Is it just a thumbnail, or is that?
No, it's actually video. Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know why it's doing that either.
They're cheese ball.
See, it says watch now. I clicked watch now.
Yes. Refresh that page again.
I've done it like 3 times.
Oh, okay. I don't know that.
I refresh it and then I click watch now and it goes black. So maybe it will start.
Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Is it? It's this like thing that you can wear to breastfeed.
Okay.
All right, let me just close this and open the link again. Maybe it will work. If not, whatever.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever.
We don't have to see your male breastfeeding apparatus.
Okay, there it is.
There it is. I really like our thumbnail for this evening with the strange stories from the interwebs. That looks like a
Why is it doing this?
There's a large burrito on the thumbnail. I have seen a ton off of the wall shit most people would never ever believe, but I've never seen a man lactate. It sounds like what's that song? There's like a song from a musical that's like, but I've never seen a That's what, never seen a man lactate.
I mean, I've never known a man to lactate. Like I literally, as I'm like looking at this stuff going, oh, that's interesting. And it's not about being against like a person wanting to be able to breastfeed or lactate or anything like that. I wonder, is there pop-ups blocked or something on this? Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
Like maybe you can.
I can look, but I don't think it is.
Whoa, that's a whole like. Oh.
Yeah, I don't want all that to happen.
Okay. See, like, watch, just like when I refresh it. Oh yeah, look, trackers, ads, and 18 more things are. Oh, there it goes.
I'll try it.
Okay, is this gonna work?
It might.
Hopefully.
It might. Could. It could. Might. Maybe.
It's like a minute long. It's not very long.
It's not very long. It's like our attention span. Not very long.
Whoa, why is it not on here?
I don't know. What is it doing now? It's not behaving. It's 10:10, everybody. 10:10.
It wasn't on the screen.
Rin 10:10. No, no, it wasn't. I didn't think it was sharing it.
All right, here we go.
Involved with taking care of their babies. And what better way to do that than with the father's nursing assistant? This fake breast apparatus from Japanese company Dentsu claims to help babies fall asleep easier. The device vibrates when the infant drinks, allowing dad to feel more actively engaged in the child rearing process. There's also an accompanying app that displays how much milk the child has drank and how long it drank for. The device conforms to the infant's body, has a natural texture, and is also heated to simulate the comforting body temperature of the mother, all of which are optimal for inducing sleep. By wearing the device, new dads can hope to be their baby's new breast friend. Currently, the father's nursing assistant is still a prototype, but they're actively searching for partners. Stay tuned for more South by Southwest coverage from CNET.com. Now, shh, the baby's trying to sleep.
So what do you guys think of that?
It seems perfectly natural. I mean, you want your future dads to know what it's like to have breasts and lactate from them and feed your child. I wish I had a device when I was in my early 20s that told me exactly how much I drank, because that would have been helpful.
I mean, would you wear it?
I don't think so. I was like reluctant to wear we had the twins and to wear the baby thing on the front of you. The carrier thing where you wear the two babies. I didn't like that. I felt better just, kind of, you don't call it free balling, but you kind of just free babying,
Yeah, just holding the baby without a device.
Holding the babies is easier than having some weird thing stuck to you, and then the babies are all stuck to you and drooling and throwing up all over you. It's fucking nasty. Like, no, don't do that.
Wrap.
Give the babies room.
I had a Maya wrap. I did more of a traditional thing like that a mother would use. So that was great. I liked it.
Babies are now clothes. That's right, Oz. You wear them. They're fashion accessories, not unlike kitty cats and dogs.
I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, at least
Ferrets.
This would be something that would be an alternative that would be
Lemurs.
much more accepted than a male.
They will.
That's trans to female.
Yeah.
Lactating and doing synthetic hormones. And you know, I mean,
it's
you
better
don't know
than
what
that.
the damage of that is.
It's better than that, certainly. And babies will puke they'll puke right in your mouth if you let them. They don't care. They're not thinking about it. They're like, puked in your eye. Go get me some more sweet potatoes.
All right. So since Steve brought it up, I'm gonna tell you guys a crazy lactation story that happened.
Miguel, get the clipper ready.
To me. Can you give me that picture of Leo when he was that little baby one over there on the back of the door? So this was about like 6 years ago. I had I started lactating and I didn't know what was going on. So I go to the doctor and they're like doing tests on me and they're like trying to figure out like what's going on, like why is, you know, like there's no, they're like, have you been around pregnant women? I'm like,
sound is bad. Why is sound bad? Wait, did we bump something? Did we screw something up? I don't think so.
Is my sound bad or is this sounds bad? And what is it?
It's both. She sounded distorted.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, did you guys get what I said?
It's better now.
Okay, now it's better. Okay, so yeah, about 6 years ago, I randomly started lactating. Had to go to the doctor. They were trying to figure out why. They were like, were you around pregnant women or anything? Like, I was like, no, I wasn't. Like, there was nothing that triggered it. You know, like I had to go see a specialist and they tested me and they tested like, it was only like one boob that I was getting a little bit out of. And like, so the whole thing happened and I figured out who it was and why. It was due to this little shit right here. That is my little Leo. And that's my hand. Like, that's how tiny he was. And when he was, you know, I was taking care of, helped take care of his mom and him. And because I had such like empathy and I was, you know what I mean? I was so connected with this little guy that I started lactating. Yeah. No, it's weird. It's a weird thing that happened. I don't like but it was Leo's fault.
That's funny. Teresa says, lactating consultant. That's a pretty good job. Come to think of it. I'm like, yeah, not bad work if you can get it. And Popeye's like, yeah, but I bet you're pretty full by the end of the day after testing.
Oh my gosh. I've tested. Okay, well, this is not that show. But yeah, actually, I went to a lactation consultant when I was pregnant with Skyla because I didn't know like what to do. I didn't have any family in the area, but I knew I wanted to breastfeed because I knew that it was, you know, a healthy option. I wanted to at least try it. And
I think you just gotta watch like, you know, the animals and then you figure it out. The agro said you should have went to the vet. It would have been cheaper.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's my little Leo's fault. It was his mama dog. Her name was Dixie Normus. Yes, Dixie Normus. So say that out loud if you can. If you're in an environment where that's okay. I hope so, because if you have me on, then it's not safe for work. Yeah, she her pregnancy caused me to have a reaction because I have like empathy. And Leo was my baby.
The milkman cometh.
Where is he? Leo. And I'm very connected with Leo to this day.
Your mom's
Leo,
calling you.
right here. Come here. I'm talking about how I lactated because of you.
He's like, no.
It's his fault.
Dick's Enormous and Mike Glitterous. Could you pick up the payphone, please?
Look
Dick's Enormous and Mike Glitterous. There's a phone call. We found your puppy.
You were so tiny.
Come to the courtesy desk. We found your hamster. Oh, wait, it's a dog.
So yeah, I was the first person to touch Leo, and I was there with him through his mom's whole pregnancy and after, and he would sleep on my chest and like in my bra and stuff.
That's Captain Stubing to you, pal. Popeye's like, oh, Gavin McLeod, your head is so shiny. Captain Stubing to you. Or Doc. Doc was kind of shiny too there. Juan Jablomi. We found your puppy. Come to the service desk. Juan Jablomi.
Oh my God.
Mike Clitoris. There's a phone call from Mike Clitoris.
So yeah, it's a weird thing that happened to me, you know. So like I relate to the whole like lactating thing, you know. It happens, you know. Sometimes you can't control it. So
bring back midwives, Gray Walker says.
I have a friend that's a midwife. I have friends that never went to the hospital for their babies.
Go start. Did you have a doctor look at that mole for you? He's talking about Leo's picture because he looks like a little.
He does.
Like a little shrew or something. So cute.
So, you know, I think we need to make sure that we're keeping kids safe. And I'm not sure that a person pumped full of hormones is making milk is going to keep the kids safe.
Milk is actually milk or safe for children to be consuming.
So in my search of all of this, I came across a new person that I'm going to share with you guys who talks about this particular issue in rap form. And so I'm going to play their music video. And I don't know if I should play that first part, but it's on there. It is a female giving, it doesn't show it, but it's a female giving birth in a birthing tub at home. And they're both transgender, so the male to female and then female to male. But I'm just going to show the video. Like I don't want to overly explain this. All right, here it is. I'm going to mute us. And I'm going to play it.
Something's coming. Something's coming. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Oh, I have to put it over here.
The baby has been able to latch, but I've not been able to produce any milk. It's okay because we're going to supplement the feeding with formula so that my baby's still getting the nutrients that they need.
And if that makes me a bigot, well then what's up? I'm cool with whatever you identify with, but I'll tell you right now, I ain't getting behind this. You can hate me and accuse me as crazy and come up with a bunch of different dumb excuses to say to me, but no matter what you think about this dude and this lady, that's straight up sexual abuse of a baby. Just because your nipples look like milk duds doesn't mean you'll be able to produce any milk from them. It's a baby. Of course it's gonna latch to your udder. It doesn't know the fucking difference between the dad and the mother. You already admitted that the kid ain't getting nothing, but you keep on doing it, and to me that's sick and disgusting. It doesn't benefit shit. There's no nutritional value no matter how long that baby sucks on your nipples. So how about you just stop? It ain't a freaking project. You can't fuck up and tell the teacher that you didn't drop it. Your kid's licking hair and sweat off a bare chest, and I'm gonna question you to his parents? Yes, of course I am. This is way past politics. No matter if you're left or right, this is bad, all of it. We used to care about the young and look out for their safety. Now as long as we're happy, fuck them, they don't count, they're babies. The man's a woman and the woman's a man, but the man had the baby cause only a woman can. And as soon as he gave birth and the baby came out, they switched back. See, do you hear how fucking crazy I sound? Ain't it funny? The ones who say follow the science seem to be the same ones that always defy it. I'm sorry if I get it wrong, it's complicated stuff. It's like we're all bored and now we're starting to make shit up. How far are we gonna let this go? That's an honest question. You can let me know below in the comment section. I believe you should be who you want to be, cause this is the land of the free, but that's the wrong direction. That video is fucked up. I'll say it loud. If you think that's okay, fuck you, I'll say it proud. I'm just looking out for the baby, but watch, this is gonna be the video that ends up being taken down. But that's the world we live in, and this is what we get. A man's nipple and a baby's pucker lips. There's absolutely no point of doing it, it's sick. I mean, at that point, you might as well let it suck your dick. Forget it.
Fantastic song.
So I did not show that to Steve beforehand. I heard it earlier, and I'm showing it to you now. So Steve, what do you think of this new artist that I found?
I think it's fantastic. I really like it, and I have to check with Mouse on this one, but he says with enough wheatgrass juice and ayahuasca, any man can breastfeed. We all know this. I'm not sure what kind of ayahuasca Mouse is getting into out there in the around the San Francisco area, but you know, I'm not here to judge. That really disturbed me. That the beginning scene of that with the tub and the thing and the fucking weird like birth thing happening, or like was that like butt birth? What was going on exactly?
No, they were having a home birth.
Having a home birth.
But they were both trans people. Yes. So this is, I think.
So one of them was initially
a documentary that has been produced.
One of them was biologically female in order to have the baby.
The one that was a biological female is the one that had the beard. And the other one was the male, and that's the one that they were trying to get to breastfeed the baby.
Right. All right.
Even though the baby wasn't getting anything.
Okay, so that makes sense to me more now, and it's really it's just it's too fucking much, man. That song just fucking
he nails it.
Nailed it.
Leave the kids out of it.
Just leave the kids out of it. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Out of it. Like,
yes.
If you want to do what you want to do as adults, then that's fine. But leave the kids out of it.
Yes.
And that's where I stand with that.
Thank you. That's exactly my position on this entire thing. Like, I could give a fuck. I don't want to have to be confused and like be like, what is that? What am I looking at? I know that stuff's for people to deal with in their own spaces. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna judge you for what you want to enjoy. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I never have. But it is
when the children become involved. That's when I have an issue. I have an issue with children. Being like, you know.
When is it weird for a child to be raised by people who both think they're the opposite biological or want to be the opposite biological thing than that they were born as? So their genders are both those parents' genders are reversed, really, right? So therefore, what is that child going to think the right thing is?
They refer to the child as they. They are like they are doing it as a non-binary.
Move your arm just for a second and talk.
What do you want?
Yeah, this is being weird. Okay.
Testing now. Now it's working.
Yeah, it should be.
Yep.
Okay, hopefully it's not distorting now, and it should be okay.
So it's just
better.
I think we need to, I know that this is a small amount of the population right now, But we need to be aware of these things that are happening, because what's going to happen is it's going to be completely politicized. It's going to be completely like divided to where there is no conversation about it, because you'll be able to tell how somebody feels about it based upon how they politically respond, right? Yeah. Like it feels like the left is going too far with things, and the extreme on the right, they're going too far with things too.
It's the culture war going back and forth, and they're both
it's both too far, and it's not, you're not thinking about the children. I don't want to be repressed to the point where we have no tomboys. Like, I grew up as a tomboy, you know, or whatever. I've always enjoyed kind of like being able to be like, you know, fluid with that kind of thing. But I biologically, I am a female, and I don't feel like I feel like I am who I am, you know, like I don't have a problem with that.
Who I am.
I'm not confused or anything. I don't, you know,
I have a question.
So I feel like, hang on, let me just finish this point. I feel like the right is like pushing us into these societal norms that are very stereotypical, what a male or what a female is. And then on the left, they're pushing the extreme, like opposite, where there is not there, like it's just too fluid between. And it's like, I think we need to bring this conversation up. It needs to happen because, like, you know, neither side is getting it right. Like either way, they're going to one extreme, and then the other side is going to another extreme. And if we don't talk about this and we just let it grow and we ignore it, it's just going to make that extreme and that partisanship of that, like, really cement.
If I have small nipples, does that mean I can only express skim milk? Or could it be also maybe condensed milk?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Well, it's a question. It's Mystery Science, Jerry Springer Theater 3000.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know. I tried to get an answer.
And when I'm saying left and right, I'm talking about the more open-minded people to the left, and I'm talking about the right being the more conservative people. Those are my definitions at this point that I'm using to kind of like describe the groups of people.
I am shocked at your descriptions. I am shocked, and furthermore, I am fully shocked. Look, I'll put my shocked face in the chat.
It's when we look at the more conservative side of things, people tend to not be. Sometimes they're open-minded about gay rights and stuff like that.
Not usually, because they're
not always,
and they love to fucking condemn people because of their sexuality. So
yeah,
that's always fun.
But like, there's that. And, you know, like they think about more traditional values and traditional roles that they believe, you know, like they have a certain kind of like standard of and whatever that is more so like where they fit in.
Yeah, I think that is. It's like hormones are the new designer drug. Those and stem cells, you know, stem cells are real big too. You could fix a lot of things. You got stuff wrong with you. Work for Willie Nelson. Hell, you got the money. You could rebuild your whole fucking liver.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of, that's a great segue into the next thing that I have.
Thank you.
It's pretty
I'm
crazy.
Here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Try the veal.
It's crazy because there's a millionaire entrepreneur who's infusing himself with his kid's blood. Yeah, I'm telling you. And this
delicious. I feel younger already. Come here, son. You don't need that.
I mean,
I'll take that extra pint. Eat better, goddamn it, so much your blood works better for me.
So yeah, this is a millionaire entrepreneur who's infusing himself with blood from his 17-year-old son in a quest to stay young forever. And this is from Yahoo News, May 22nd of 2023. So, like, you know, recently. He looks young. I mean, he definitely does. Is it the blood? I don't know. So, Brian Johnson is 45-year-old millionaire who is attempting to slow down his aging process.
Well, I think it's working because he used to sing for AC/DC and he looked terrible last time I saw him. Brian Johnson?
Is it
Anybody?
the same guy?
Bueller? Wait, Oz is here. Oz knows.
So his latest venture involves getting blood plasma from his 17-year-old son, Bloomberg reported. So Johnson also gave blood to his own father, completing the tri-generational blood exchange.
Tri-generational blood exchange.
I know. Like, it's not just like a regular blood. It's a tri-generational. Like, they all went in on this together. Steve the cat behind you, please get him off.
What are you doing, dude? You can't sit on here. That's not a place for a cat to sit.
No, he can't sit on there right now. Like, he just can't sit on there.
He's gonna try to over and over.
Okay. So it's not often that a parent asks for a huge favor from their teenage son. Kid, sure, washing the dishes, maybe well within the abilities of a 17-year-old. But what about spending hours at a wellness clinic donating blood for your dad?
Come on, kid, just give me your blood.
Look at the two of them together, though.
Can I just have some of your blood, for fuck's sake? I raised you. I fed you all this time. It's the least you can do. Yeah, they're fucking.
He looks a little yellow.
They are. Yeah, that guy's just. No, it's bad. He's already had the stem cells. That's why he looks like he's only 4 years older than his son. It's fucking gross, man. What the hell is going on there?
So he's 45 and his son is 17.
Yeah.
So he's only a couple years older than me. And his son is like 2 years younger than Sky. So was he like 26 or something when he had his kid? So I've never even heard of doing this, like a tri-generational. Like, what? So this is a picture of the two of them with their plasma, I guess.
Yeah, they're all proud with their plasma and shirtless, like, we're beefcake for plasma.
I mean, I'm sure he eats a good diet if he's into this. He's probably into, like, you know what I mean? He's probably eating a really good food.
Fit. They both do. Like, but
they're probably just healthy people in general. I don't think that they need to do blood. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I was just like, wow, this is weird stuff happening with like parents and kids and people and
you know how manipulated. You know, they tweak stories. It could, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be.
So I guess he donated to his 70-year-old father.
Oh, well, that's
nice. And no one donated back to the 17-year-old. Like, what? So they just took from him, but he didn't get anything in return. Well, why would he want their blood?
Well, he's going to get all their money when they die. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. Kid's like, yeah, motherfucker, don't give me nothing back. All right, I got you. And then he's gonna be all sweet to them. They're gonna write. I mean, like,
how often do you have to do it?
I don't know. How often does Keith Richards get his blood exchanged on that machine?
So this isn't the first time that Brian Johnson has made headlines with wild anti-aging ideas, though as far as we know, it's the first time he brought his son, who isn't old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes, into his theories. So Johnson made his fortune as the founder of Braintree, a web and mobile payment company that acquired Venmo and was later sold to PayPal. Nowadays, he's better known for spending at least $2 million a year chasing the fountain of youth. Well, I mean, I guess if you're that rich, then you could do what you...
Yeah, it looks like he's got a pretty good jump on it, man. He looks much better than most of the 40-year-olds I know. You know, he's got like zero fucking body fat. He's obviously eats well, not consuming the glyphosated fucking ring dings at the fucking gas station.
Yeah, it says that he follows strict dietary guidelines and a rigid schedule for sleep and exercise, frequent medical exams, and following the advice of a 29-year-old doctor who finished medical school right before the pandemic. Like, I don't know why they have to say it like that. Like, oh,
How has anybody tried the cayenne pepper thing where you take some cayenne pepper in a glass of water and suck it down, and it's supposed to do like this oxygenating thing and works with the magnesium in your blood, and it does a thing, and it's supposed to be wonderful. It makes you feel fucking great.
I mean, if
That
we
might be better than stealing your kid's blood.
if we go back to one of our earlier stories, remember I brought up that they were saying how your blood exchanges, you know what I mean, like with your baby when you're pregnant, as you're female, you're pregnant, so like we get it that way. Maybe this is just like he's like, yeah, this is kind of the same thing, and I don't know. So some studies in rodents have suggested that older mice that share blood and organs with the younger counterparts may experience a reverse aging effect, though these studies are also controversial because, but there's no evidence to suggest that such an exchange would work in humans, and researchers have previously told Insider that the practice could have dangerous side effects, such as a strong immune reaction. I mean, it would probably have to be somebody that like is, close to you that you can exchange. Like, not everybody can exchange everybody's blood.
No, you have to be the same type and all the things, all the factors.
There's like factors that have to line up, like for that to happen, right?
I'm not. It's still fucking creepy, and even if it's just a clickbait, fucking goofy story like that to get you fucking riled up, it's just weird. People are fucking weird, and billionaires are weirder than regular people because they have too much money, so they don't think about normal things.
I know. Imagine like
existing and trying to survive. They're just like, I wonder if I could harvest the blood from my young son, who seems stronger than me and more fit somehow, even though I work out twice as hard as him. Yeah, I'm just gonna take his blood. It'll be fine.
Well, I guess he does this. Like, this isn't the first time he's done it. It says that he visited a wellness clinic several times to receive blood plasma from a young anonymous donor whose health data was screened before, he decided to get it, and then he decided to get it from his son instead. Plasma donors usually receive $100 in gift cards for the procedure, though it costs roughly $5,500 to complete.
Yeah, I think that's while it has nothing to do with anything. Popeye mentions Oz. I think the whole virgin bass drum thing is so stupid. Mount your toms on the drum. That always gets muffled and save floor space. And
all right, so so I mean, this stuff could be clickbait. I don't know. But
vampirism.
It's still like an interesting thing, because we always hear about like the adrenochrome and like other stuff like that.
You can't say that on YouTube, man. No, they will kick you in the nuts. Did you say adrenochrome? I would kick you in the nuts. All right. Also, vampirism running rampant. I think we just did a story on that. If I'm not mistaken. I might be. Too many transfusions can cause liver failure.
Oh.
Zainab said I've had to have 12 during my pregnancy and 5 before that and a couple cents. Taking in someone's blood comes with many health complications. Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's a reaction, a cause and effect with everything. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but I just thought like, wow, that's a crazy. Like, it feels like there's a lot of weird stuff happening with like parents and kids right now, and just like all of this, like, and then, I think this is the article that Lady Alex sent over. Where is he? Leo. Is he on him?
No.
All right. Where did I put it? So Lady Alex sent this article over and I added it in because it fit right in here with what kind of like what we're talking about with kids and everything like that. So kids could fill labor shortages. Yeah, that's what it is. That's
goddamn kids back to work. That's what I say.
Kids could fill labor shortages even in bars if these lawmakers succeed.
Well, if you don't let the people at the border in, then there is no illegal workforce, and therefore shit just runs off the rails because, nobody wants to pay anybody anything because wealth inequity and reasons and capitalism, late stage. Hello.
Yeah. And this is from Madison, Wisconsin, from the AP, and lawmakers in several states are embracing legislation to let children work in more hazardous occupations for more hours on school nights and expanded roles, including serving alcohol in bars and restaurants as young as 14. I mean, like, what could go wrong there? Right? Like, what could go wrong there? The efforts to significantly roll back labor rules are largely led by Republican lawmakers to address worker shortages and, in some cases, run afoul on federal regulations. Child welfare advocates worry the measures oh my gosh, where am I? Represent a coordinated push to scale back hard-won protections for minors. So, the consequences are potentially disastrous is what they're saying. Yeah, it could be. I mean, like, it depends on what it is. Like, we've talked about child labor laws previously. Like, I don't think it's okay for children to be working in meat packing plants and in the mills and doing, certain kind of work. If they're working on mom and dad's farm or like age appropriate things, there are certain things that kids can do, but their job shouldn't be like work it should be actually like hopefully getting some kind of education, whether or not it's in public school or not. So lawmakers propose loosening child labor laws in at least 10 states over the past 2 years, according to a report published last month by the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute. Some bills became law, while others were withdrawn or vetoed. So where are we talking about? Wisconsin, Ohio, Iowa.
Yep.
Are actively considering relaxed child labor laws to address worker shortages, which are driving up wages and contributing to inflation. Does that make sense to you? That doesn't make sense to me.
What then?
That it's causing inflation?
It's causing inflation to have children working?
To
not have children working.
Okay, so legislators in Wisconsin, Ohio, and Iowa are actively considering relaxing child labor laws to address worker shortages, which are driving up wages, which is that's a bad thing. Okay, and contributing to inflation. So it's giving workers more money because there's shortages, and it's driving inflation.
Yeah, no, that's nonsense. That's spin. That's what you call it.
Yeah.
Narrative spin. So
employers have struggled to fill open positions after a spike in retirements, deaths, and illnesses from C-19, decreases in illegal immigration, and other factors. So they're saying that the job market is one of the tightest since World War II, and the unemployment rate is 3.4%, the lowest in 54 years. Bringing children into the labor market is, of course, not the only way to solve the problem. Economists point to several other strategies the country can employ to alleviate the labor crunch without asking kids to work more hours in dangerous settings. The most obvious allowing more legal immigration, which is politically divisive, but has been a cornerstone of the country's ability to grow for years in the face of an aging population. Other strategies could include incentivizing older workers to delay retirement, expanding opportunities for former incarcerated people, and making childcare more affordable so that parents have greater flexibility to work. Yeah, that's definitely something that's really hard. When you're a parent working, is being able to afford daycare and just being able to get the infrastructure to be able to get to and from work and things like that. It's when Wisconsin lawmakers are backing a proposal to allow 14-year-olds to serve alcohol in bars and restaurants. If it is passed, Wisconsin will have the lowest such limit nationwide, according to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. Wait.
Mouse says, I'm not sure why, but this episode is making my nipples so sensitive.
Stop playing with them. That's probably why, Mouse. Are you just doing that?
He thought you said to milk them. He's confused.
I was not saying to stimulate them the whole time.
You said we can lactate. What?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, Mouse. Oh gosh.
Needed that.
Mm-hmm. The Ohio legislative is on track to pass a bill allowing students ages 14 and 15 to work until 9 p.m. during the school year with their parents' permission.
I love that. You see what Zainab just put? She said someone should correct this article in red and post it. Give it a fucking grade.
I know.
D+. Needs improvement. Incomplete.
Oh. So yeah, this is we'll just get the kids. Yeah, we'll get the kids in there. Is that why they're making retirement later? They're like, no, you guys are not entitled to this, the Social Security that that we've taken away from you your whole life, all your paychecks. You do not deserve that, and you can't retire yet. And this is why, is because they want you to continue to just work and work and work until and not even collect it. That is crazy. And then they want to put kids to work. I don't know.
It's a little.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's absolutely a thing.
It is a thing. I don't know.
They're like, let's do this thing. I get my kids down here in a half an hour. Sweep this place right up.
Yeah. So speaking of children, there's a crazy. The link for that story will be in the description. I'll have that there for anyone who wants to look at that article further. With the child labor laws. We are going to be moving on to this right here. Steve, this is interesting. I don't think I told you about this, that we were covering this. I might have. I might have. I don't tell him everything because I like him to have some surprise,
Yeah, I'm always surprised.
Photographer creates lifelike social media influencer using only AI. So that's not even a real kid.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is from Petapixel, May 23rd, 2023.
Petapixel?
Petapixel.
The peta short for pedophile or no?
Geppetto? I don't know.
Geppetto.
I don't know.
Let's make a real boy.
So this is Ellen, the lifelike social media influencer created entirely by AI. So that little kid is not a real kid. And I'm like, okay, cool. What could go wrong here? What could go wrong? So the photographer whose work has transitioned to being 80% AI has generated a lifelike social media influencer using AI. Do you want to read some of this?
Where are we at? Photographer work who has transitioned to being 80% AI has generated a lifelike social media. Can we blow it up a little? Influencer using artificial intelligence. Until Carpinian, and what the fuck? Anti-Carpinen.
Just call him AK. Or
AK?
something. Yeah.
And Eddie and Auntie. I'm going to say Auntie. Auntie Karppinen did not use his camera at all during his latest project for a Finnish energy giant Helen, where he created a children's character called Ellen. He works for Helen. He made a character called Ellen. We had to bring Ellen to life and make her appear as realistic as possible, just like Ellen. It's so weird. It's just like the same thing as the show. We had to bring Ellen to life and make her appear as realistic as possible. So I started sketching ideas for the character in AI. Karppinen tells Petapixel. I first used Midjourney to get a good picture of the girl, created variations and different angles. Once we had the main features down, I created a personalized AI to make Ellen versatile enough to fit into various situations and environments, he continues. We even had Ellen pose for some real-life photographs with Helen employees and the amazing, iconic Finnish actress Silasella.
She looks weird next to her.
I don't know. I can't really. Silasella, you got to move it more. Okay.
She looks weird next to her.
That's because it's 80% AI. Is that right? Ellen posing with Helen employee. Ellen and Helen, everybody. Let's hear it for Ellen and Helen.
It looks like it could be her child.
Fantastic. Yeah, very similar.
Did he make?
The chin is not right, though, if they were trying to match the, bone structure. I get a lifelike character as possible. I use Stable Diffusion AI with Control Net to get full control over the character with my own personalized AI model, says Karppinen. So the character is fully generated from AI images. It just needs a few steps to get the realism I wanted. So we started off as kind of cartoon, and then it just keeps messing with it, and it looks more real, and the lighting and stuff is all changing. Yeah, the lighting is wrong on the AI person standing next to the lady there in that last picture. It looks way more natural here on this next picture.
It's just weird though because it's AI created.
Yeah, it still has like a fake sort of. I don't know what that look is, but I have it on my art program too. There's like a preset that it does that thing where it doesn't really turn you into a cartoon, but you kind of look cartoon. Like this looks way more cartoon. The hair, it's more like a cutout and placed into that shot thing. And the shot is like computer generated as well. It's not a real bridge or anything where it's standing.
I don't know. This just seems
it's corny.
It's weird to me. It just gives me a weird
it's very uneasy vibes because why is this person so obsessed with making a tiny little child like this to look at and try to get so real? And it's like a virtual Pinocchio story or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be misused. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm picking. That's what I'm kind of like apprehensive about is that I feel like this is going to be abused.
Like that.
I feel like AI children being produced in that way it's going to be abused.
That picture with the old lady doesn't match. They don't match.
Yeah.
Petapixel has featured Karppinen's pioneering work before, previously reporting how he created a data set that AI images can be produced. It just went away from me.
I moved it. I didn't realize you were at that time.
Removing the need for any further photography and how he recreated his own images using AI. While those previous projects still involve some form of Carpenter's photography, his latest social media influence undertaking requires no photos whatsoever. As an AI specialist, this project was both challenging and thrilling. I had to employ all my skills and tools to make Ellen look as lifelike as possible. The results, however, were beyond even my expectations. The project showcased the boundless possibilities that these emerging technologies offer in storytelling and visual productions. Yeah, there'll be no need for actors or comedians or fucking anybody, you know. You don't have to write the movie. You don't have to star in the movie. You don't have to do the voice of the movie. You don't have to narrate. You don't have to do any parts of the movie making. That AI can already do it better than you if you haven't done it before, and you're not a fucking producer, or you're not a director, you're not a writer, you're not a screenplay writer. You know, it was like, can you just write me like a badass screenplay about these things, bro? And the thing would just, here you go.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get better at it. It's just getting better at it. I mean, the art is just ridiculous. Some of these programs are stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, again, yeah. Zappa nailed it with the Thingfish. Exactly. He just like, I don't know if there was something, you know what it was? I think in the 40s and the 50s and 60s even, there was a thing where everybody's brain in the United States wasn't fully calcified. Like their pineal glands weren't just encrusted with deposits of calcium and stuff. You know what I mean? Like people had like insight into things, and you could actually predict the outcomes of things. That's why books like 1984 and you know what I mean? All of these books got written because people had the forethought. Like oh, if shit doesn't change, it's gonna be like this. And then they write that shit, and then it's like, whoa, were there prophets? Well, I believe, yeah. Most people probably are pretty prophetic in that way. And you can't, if you study the patterns long enough, anybody can see, you know, the potential repetition of certain things and cycles and stuff. Like you can predict it. And they're dumbing that out of us as a nation. They're stopping you from being able to even do that, where you just keep your head down and you just keep working and you just keep plugging away and you spend all your time doing that, so you have enough money so that you can go somewhere for 3 days out of a year and get fucked up and have fun and not worry about everything. And that's it. That's what you get. That's the most you can hope for. And maybe pay off your fucking debt eventually sometime, maybe, probably never. And hopefully not die of cancer, because of course, you know, 3 out of 10 people are going to get it. So that's what I'm saying. They've literally removed the critical thinking from our they've fucking neutered us, like, and any kind of instinct and insight that, and you know,
good night, Lady Alex.
Any sort of telepathy that we ever had is just like fucking cooked, man. We smoked it. It. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Orwell was a British agent, and other brilliant people have written things that were completely prophetic to most people, but they were just in the know. They knew about certain things, and they could predict the outcomes of those things if they were left unchecked. And all of those things were left unchecked and distorted even further than they could even imagine. And now we live in those times, man. It's just levels and levels and levels of deception to keep everybody fucking going to work and playing the fucking game.
What's crazy though is that they still, well, at least they used to. They used to have kids read these books, and now they don't. Now they don't at all. We own, you know what I mean? Like we own some of these books. We have we have 1984 on our shelf, and we have Animal Farm and stuff, and like I have my original Lord of the Flies from high school, from my high school on my shelf. But they're not. These books aren't commonplace anymore. They're really not.
That is the thing, is like even the books and the set of tools that you had then compared to now, you could argue that there's more information now, and all of those things, some of them,
we have more information, but we have a lot of like junk information in our brains. We have a lot of things like that we don't need to think about, that we don't need to have in our thought process, and like that kind of just like, it's like you're in a minefield and you have all this information and like all this extra information, and you know what you need, or you think you know what you need for information, but like there's just so much other stuff that's just cluttering the whole place up. And it's like, you don't want to step on the wrong thing. You don't want to set it off. You want the information, right? You want the right information, but we are so like cluttered with all this garbage all the time. And like, it's just, that's the way to dumb us down, I think, too, is that even like really smart people get stuck in these like loops of people saying the same things or doing the same things. And then they just get stuck there and they don't recover from that.
Yeah, people definitely get stuck from time to time. We do it. Everybody does. Everybody gets caught in their comfortable place and in their bubble. We're always making bubbles. That's our problem, man. We're all making bubbles, blowing bubbles. Remember blowing bubbles when you were a kid? He called. He said he wants his $20.
What? So we need to remember,
somebody caught that joke in the chat. They're just like,
we need to remember to filter out some of the garbage stuff, right? Like we need to remember to filter out some of the bullshit and, think about what really matters. Does that person that offended me like on social media, do they really matter? Are they worth me getting angry over? Probably not. It's probably, you know what I mean? Like they're probably not worth getting angry over. Like we need to figure out like what really we're concerned with and where we really want to put our energy. It's really easy to get distracted, but all the garbage. And I feel like that's like a lot of what we're doing. And then we'll mix it in where we have a lot of stuff that's like really important at the same time. And it get that right there. The important stuff gets filtered out as being like garbage stuff. and the stuff that's not important, like, is what holds the most presence, sometimes. And like, we need to try to just be aware of what we're thinking about, what we're reacting to.
It's kind of funny though, and it's telling when you like Popeye's like, I got into an argument with my next door neighbor just because he stated his opinion that Trump didn't bother him as a president. Like, I don't give a fuck, So his indifference means that he's somehow some kind of fucking loser, fascist asshole, that this guy's got to go fucking snitch on him and make a big fuss.
I know, what kind of shit is that?
That is what the fucking shit-lib people are doing to the people that they perceive as a threat to them. Like,
if you are outside of my narrative,
if you're outside of my bubble, you are a fucking enemy, and you are going to get arrested. I'm going to fucking do whatever I can.
I'm going to make sure that your life is fucked up.
Yeah.
If you do not group think with me.
It's the ultra fascist, ultra liberal fascist fucking mindset. That's what it is. And people just, they get to be liberal and they think about things in liberal terms. And then they either stay there like a normal person might, be somewhere in between. they just drift over farther and farther to the left until they're right up against the right with their crazy ideas. You know what I mean? As crazy an idea as you can come up with, these people on the left are embracing, like the idea that, you know, people saying that you shouldn't alter children. You shouldn't alter children.
We need to protect
let children be altered. That's not okay. Saying that somehow makes me now this like trans-hating monster.
It makes you a bigot
in their eyes, though. But I mean, immediately they just want to like, I'm gonna call the fucking trans police on you, because
and they want to govern you. They want to govern you.
It's the extreme fascism.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which
it comes from both sides. It really does. It's like I see it from both sides. People want to control other people. And there are some things where we just need to let people be. But there are some things that as a society, I don't think it's okay to do to children. And you know what I mean? Like there needs to be limits and conversations and balance as to, you know, like we don't have enough actual conversations. We have a lot of conflict in this country, but I don't feel like we actually have enough actual conversations because everyone is so worried about getting offended or offending somebody or being labeled something, and that gets us nowhere. My friend Chris always, you know, reminds me that like if we don't walk up to that line of offensive, then how do we know where it is? How do we know where something becomes offensive and where it's not offensive?
Right. That's why
we have to talk about it. We have to figure it out as a society.
We have to embrace comedians and people who push that.
Yeah.
And embrace that idea that no, you can make fun of everything because that's what the fuck comedy is.
Everybody's fair game.
Those are the people that find the edge of those fucking conversations. Because that's their fucking job, is to make you test yourself to see if you thought that was funny. Oh boy, if you thought that was funny, oh my God, clutch your pearls, you're a monster. Like, and you see how ludicrous it is to feel that way. And therefore it helps shift the fucking social opinion of it, because people become more aware, like how up my own ass was I when I thought that, you know what I mean? Like, just, I don't know. It needs to happen and it needs to be encouraged. People need to fucking laugh, man. I'm salty. I'm with that motherfucker all the way on that. Just like make people laugh. Don't take it so seriously. Some things are fucking totally serious and talk about them. Absolutely. But at the same time, there's no reason that you can't be fucking risque and fucking edgy and funny and fucking goofy about it at the same time.
I mean, we were talking about this other day.
That's the way I prefer my life.
In Salty's thing, I was like, you know, it used to be that people were edgy, like as in like pushing the social norms and people of, you know, I mean, I was born in the 80s, so I was raised in, you know, that in that the 80s and into the 90s, and it was like, it was a time to like push things, to really kind of like figure out where like something ended and where it started again and where that line of offense was, and to kind of like have a little bit of that raw, real edginess to it. And I feel like so much of that is just diminished and it's just gone. And I'm like, we need some of that back. We need some of that edge. We need some of that like bite, because we're just missing the fucking point. Like as a society, like we're missing the point. And I don't want to go like backwards, but we need a little bit more of that. We can't just like become so politically correct that we are afraid and terrified to say anything or say, whoa, maybe that's not okay. Because I feel like that's the climate that we're in. Yeah. Like where you cannot say that something is not okay. Like you can't say like, oh, you know, oh, maybe we should pause on that. Like maybe we should have a conversation about that. Maybe we should, you know, let society catch up to us. Cause there's a lot of like, we have to understand that like, you know, people are on both sides of things, right? Like there's people on like, you know, each political point that you make, there's going to be somebody that probably has the most extreme opposite reaction to what you think.
Of course.
You know, so there's that, you know, there's the yin and the yang. There's a balance to all of it. But I forgot what I was getting at with this. You know, like, so there's going to be somebody that feels the extreme like opposite of what you feel. But we have to figure out where we can kind of like come together and be like both okay enough where we can agree enough on it so that we can deal with issues as a society. And I feel like we're not doing that right now. Like everything is so reactionary. Everybody is so like, just like, I know what my side is saying and I know my echo chamber and that's where I'm comfortable and that's it. And to me, I hope that people will push the envelope on their echo chambers because we all have them. We all have echo chambers. Push the envelope to not let somebody being a Trump supporter like immediately cancel them out for you, or maybe someone that's you know what I mean, like try to stretch and try to see at least that perspective and that other perspective. Even if you don't change your mind, try to understand the other perspective.
I really rely on the comedy thing. Like, I love finding new people that are funny. I love Kill Tony because it turns you on to all these different people that you wouldn't normally see or hear about if you don't live in the area that they're from. And just, there's some funny motherfuckers out there, man, goofing on how fucking stupid people are being or have been for the last few years about certain things that people just couldn't talk about. And now people are just like, fuck that shit. We're just fucking ripping it all apart because they have to.
Well, Chris makes a really good point here. I wanted to bring this up before I scroll down. That they said, I used to tell my friend to read history, but he would respond and say to me, which history? He didn't know which was relevant to read and know. And that's really true because there's so much propaganda in our history, and history was written by the winners, not the losers, right? So there's always going to be a spin, and we don't really know like the history, like to be 100% unless it's lived experience, you know what I mean? Or well documented. Like we really don't know. Like we're guessing on a whole lot of shit. Like we are really guessing, and the way that things were documented and the way that, you know what I mean? Like we don't really know as much as we think we do.
That's like a great point that we need critical thinking said. Both sides, there are more than two sides in a three-dimensional world by any degree.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's like, but that's what I was getting at was like, you know, like there are the far people that are on one side of that issue and on the other side of it, and then there's like a whole lot of people in the middle that kind of like just like don't really know what's even happening, or like if you went to them and started talking to them about, I don't know, like certain topics, like things that are more mainstream now and that we talk about a lot on like in like, you know, on podcasts or on social media and stuff. But if their echo chamber is not talking about this stuff, they might have like absolutely no clue what terminology we're using, what we're talking about. Like, you know, if people aren't informed in the same way, then like it can be really confusing for them, and they have no idea what we're talking about, and they'll just tune us out.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that'll do that anyway. It doesn't matter what we're talking about or how well some people don't.
If you went to some people, they wouldn't know what a trans issue or transgender, they wouldn't necessarily know what that is.
Yes, I know. There's a lot of things that
we need to let society catch up, is what I was kind of saying.
As everybody being right up, you know, in it, but We're not. They're not. Most people that I talk to, like outside of our little internet circle of people, like actual real life people, they are at least 2 years behind in informational awareness. Like,
Yeah.
they believe the narrative. I hear the narratives from, like, months ago, like coming back, echoing back, like, what did you just say?
Yeah,
no,
like
dude, that's not real. This is the thing.
They
And then
haven't
you
caught
tell them
up.
and they're like, yeah, whatever, like so they don't absorb it anyway. So you can't really change anybody's mind about any fucking thing unless you do it. The only way that I found you could be successful is that if you do it in a way that you let the other person that you're talking to be engaged in such a way that they answer the questions. You know what I mean? You just kind of put out the information, and if they have questions, they're kind of answering their own questions on the thing. And then they feel like they're the ones responsible for knowing this now. They just didn't know that before. And they're not necessarily going to give you credit for telling them, but they feel informed now. So that's the best possible scenario.
Yeah, you can plant seeds with people, and if they come to the conclusion by you kind of saying, well, like questioning certain things and asking certain things, and they come to that conclusion themselves, and that's always good.
That's what I mean. That is the best case scenario. Like, instead of trying to beat people over the head with things,
like you can't,
which is really easy to do because we get carried away telling people things, and they're just like, what the fuck, you guys? What are you? Stop talking, please. I cannot fucking.
I can't process all of that. Yeah.
What the fuck did you do? You just told me like 19 different things in 10 sentences.
Like, well, not everybody knows who the WEF is. What I mean? Or the World Economic Forum or Klaus Schwab. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know.
You start naming
all these things and all these people. They're like, what do you mean the Rothschilds? What do you mean? Like,
what's BlackRock?
Yeah, people, Vanguard. What do you mean that is? Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different level of where they're at.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, like, we forget that. If, like, the more you fucking go down the rabbit hole with Whitney Webb, she will leave you puzzling the people around you. You're like talking about things and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like,
you can seem like a crazy person to people that aren't as aware of the things that you've uncovered at times. And and sometimes you're talking to somebody and then it's like, and then you realize like, oh yeah, they're just not caught up to that part of that yet. Like, it's like, oh, they'll get there, and they'll come around. Like, you hope. It's hard. It's hard when you have information and you go deep and and not everyone understands the rabbit holes that you've gone down.
Yeah, I think there's so many different rabbit holes that people have not gone down that they just end up thinking that the place that they're at and the sources of information that they're getting is like stuff that they can count on and not necessarily have to vet so thoroughly. And I'm here to tell you that if you do that in these indie media circles, you're going to find out the hard way that you have to vet all the things, including the personalities and people of those spaces, the people who are running those things.
If somebody is telling you to believe them without any evidence, without any anything to back up what they're telling you, then they might be gaslighting you, and they might just not even realize that they're doing it.
There's a lot of that happens. That's what I mean. If you rely on information from people I think Chris just said he likes Graham and Lee Camp's show, and it's important, and they're fire and all of that. And I'm like, I don't agree with you at all on that, but yeah, if you get information from that and you do the background on it, and don't just accept it as what you're handed, you'll know a lot more than both of those guys. Okay. And you'll also be
look into the topics that they cover.
So apt to just accept it as verbatim. You know what I mean? That's the thing that people just don't do. They just like are comfortable. I want everybody to do that with anything we fucking say. If you don't believe me that maybe you should try to vet some of that information, please vet the information. You know what I mean? And then you'll know, you'll decide I'm full of shit, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? But if, as long as people are actually seeking out truth and the actual details about things and understanding all the details about the people giving you the information as well to start with, that is wildly important, because it influences everything that they say to you and how you perceive it. If I didn't know as many things as I do about those two guys, I would just believe everything they say because they seem completely legit and they seem like good guys. I'm not saying they're not, you know. I'm just saying it bears, you know, further investigation, no matter who's giving you information. I think that's like the thing we talk about every single time on this fucking show. Like, you gotta just don't believe me. Don't take my fucking word for it.
Awesome. Yep, I'll check it. Yeah, like I think that comedy is like one of the best ways for us to get through like so much shit. Like,
it's fully the single most important thing. Yepex said, my family considers it unhealthy the amount I vet, so to speak. I'm like, no, it is the single most important thing, because if you do it and you do your due diligence and you understand that friggin' thing that you're talking about and you're inspecting it and you know as much information as you can about it, you could still end up being wrong about it, but you also remain open to more information. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Your personality should allow you to, you know, evolve your position on anything.
Yeah, like know the information because you know, because you checked the information yourself. You know what I mean? Like, because you're like you vetted it yourself, you know? So
thank you, Teresa. She's like, I told the people in Status Quo about your latest short. I'm like, oh boy. I don't think I have a lot of friends in there.
Well, is it the Roger Waters one?
Yeah, I think so.
That one?
Maybe. Or the one before that. I don't know. There's a couple I made two in the last 2 days that are just like me, just like Steve rants that are just like fuck wrong with you people.
So Zaynab said social media was supposed to expose us to more different ideas and break the bubble, but the algorithms just made it 1,000 times worse. Yeah. Definitely. I get fed like certain like things, and like certain tweets of mine will like pick up, and I can tell like if it's something that maybe more like a divisive thing, like I'll get a bunch of people that like I don't normally know responding, like because the algorithm's like pushing it to people that don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To try to like to trigger that. Like so it's interesting how that works with the algorithms. I've noticed that a couple times. I'm like, whoa, you know.
Yeah, Salty. That is the thing, man. You see that statement? He said enlightenment seems to be about giving things up more than gaining some grand insight. Ego, anger, judgment. The more I give up, the more I see. That's fucking spot on, bro. That means you are seeing, because those are the things that it's
way down
you.
Here. I'm like way back.
That's amazing.
Like, that was way back.
Good deal. Good friggin' deal. I like when people say those kinds of things and mean it, because that's the best shit, man. And I agree, because I see it, having been a fucking fuck up for so long and finally getting to a point where I can understand and process all sorts of different opposing viewpoints and ideas and things and
just like maybe you don't know, and it's okay to just be like, maybe I don't know the answer.
Sometimes.
No, that was I know what you're talking about, Greg Walker. There was something that did come out that Leah Thomas was saying, oh, they were going to detransition it, they regretted it and everything, but that was actually like a parody article that was written And I believe it was retweeted by like Jimmy Dore or something, like a bigger name. So it caught on and people believed it.
It was just a parody.
Yep. Yep, because I went back through and found that article, and I looked through it, and I was like, "Yeah, this isn't true." Do you know what I mean?
Example of how a trendy virtual signally kind of thing can just be, you know what I mean, exacerbated, like the brunt of that thing. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Dore just sharing that just recirculated this, you know, all of this emotion and stuff about this thing. Like, no, that wasn't really true, and the kid didn't steal the bike, and you know,
with the city bike incident. Yeah, I know he didn't really steal the bike. That was his bike, and that it's just Now, I think it's great when people vet things, and then, like, you know, I think it's really good because that's how we make sure that the information that we have is the most up to date and the most current, right? Because if someone finds some information and they're like, "Hey, Lucky, you covered this, and like this is new about this," I want to make sure that I'm, you know, getting that information out there to people, and I want to make sure that, like, you know, we're giving the most up to date and the most correct information that we can.
And also, like, you know, I want to say too, like, the people who make it their business to do journalism and get on the street when things happen and stuff, like the guys at Status Quo, that's fucking wildly important. That's like super important that people do that. And you know what I mean? As I'm joking around about, you know, having you know, maybe angered the moderators in that chat a couple of years ago. It was just because, you know, it was just being the way it was being run. It was just super fucking cheesy and sleazy at the same time. I'm like, this completely invalidates all the good stuff that you're doing. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing, you know? And so I just like stepped back from there. So I don't know what they're about now, but I imagine just like every other indie media thing, they're going to get some things perfectly right, and they're going to get other things wrong. And some things are just always inevitably not quite right. And that's why the vetting thing that we're talking about is important, why you have to follow up, and you just can't accept it as fact. Like some things, like, oh, okay, everybody's saying it. Well, that's how a fucking echo chamber works.
And people should be able to say, I don't know, right, or I don't have enough about that to really give, you know, to voice an opinion on something or whatever. Like there should be that level of being humble enough to say, yeah, I don't know enough about that, or I don't feel comfortable like expressing that, or, you know, like whatever it is, we need to be just like honest with each other, because I think that that's what builds the trust.
That's what the problem is inherently in it.
And yeah, Gray Walker. Yeah, it's good to be able to be correct on, you know, something like that. Because I mean, it's not about, you know, we want to be spreading the correct information, right? Like there is a lot of, you know, there's a lot of information out there that's wrong, or that's you know, has a slant to a certain way. So, you know, the best thing that we can do, I think, is you know, keep each other, you know, as informed about things as possible, you know.
I think it's pronounced Sam Squanch, but yeah, I think that pendant's still on there. X.
Which one?
Like, is that where is it? Something said something. Is that? I can't find it now. Oh, Lucky Burritos, is that Bigfoot pendant still on your site? X said.
What Bigfoot one?
There was a Bigfoot one.
Oh, yeah, I think it is actually.
Remember the Bigfoot one?
Yeah. I remember it's a pendant one.
It's
yeah,
called Sam Squanch.
Yeah, because
that is factual. Leo thinks my forehead is delicious, because of course it is. If you like sweaty.
Zainab said, I'm autistic and I can't help it but to vet, and many do I vet. When I don't and I get something wrong, I feel really bad.
Yeah.
We all can get something wrong, you know.
Get as much right as possible, but inevitably we will fail miserably. So vetting just saves us some of the embarrassment usually, but not always, because you can still just be like, be handed your ass, be like, no, jackass, that was found to be completely untrue, and here are the actual facts. And that's why you have to be prepared to evolve your position, and never let your own ego get in the way of retaining more information about something.
Yeah, and Zainab's coming on the show on Sunday, y'all.
Speaking of information,
I can't wait, as we always have such a good time.
perfect. Perfections.
Nice. And we're not going to tell people like you can't watch a certain show, or you can't, you know what I mean? Like you don't like we don't like them or whatever. Like it's like to each their own, you know what I mean? And what? Oh my gosh. So now I found this cute little video, and I was like, I need to show these guys, because if you guys aren't on Twitter, or if you didn't see it on Twitter, like you need to see this. So like it's just a thing.
You do. You need to see it.
You know which one it is?
I have no idea.
I don't think you know which one it is.
Vicky Adams. Yeah, we have covered Cop City. Actually.
Yes, we have covered Cop City. It's we need to like do an update on Cop City though.
Yeah.
Because I would like to know like what's going on with it now. It's hard because it's just me. You know what I mean? Like, and Steve helps with like the other stuff, but like really it's just me. Sometimes it can be hard and overwhelming for me to get like all of the information. I tried to do
last time we were talking about that.
We had Renee.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll have to see if she wants to come back on. And all right. So this was the cutest, and I thought that you guys should see this. So it says like when you're like over 40 and a movie comes on or something. So, oh my gosh.
He's dozing off. He's like me with the nods. Dude, that's like triggering. It's me. It's me.
The poor dog. It was just so cute. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I've been that tired. I've been that tired. And her reaction is next to the dog was just so cute. I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, we need this. We need to see this. Have you guys been that tired before? I actually like what Steve had. You had like a show, and we were out in the sun like all day.
Creek.
And then, and then we went to Camp Creek, the festival, and we didn't get there until like midnight, and like we had been out in the sun all day. And then we might have taken something that kept us awake, and then I think we had doses or something. Like we were up, and then like the next day, Max Creek was playing on the stage, and I fell asleep in a beach chair. Like everyone probably thought I was passed out like on drugs or something, but it was pure exhaustion. And I fell asleep at a concert.
Right
like on the beach. And Leo was in a seat next to me.
10 or 20, about 10 yards from the stage, basically.
Like it was really loud. I don't ever sleep through anything like that. Like it was.
Leo was sleeping with her. They were both crashed in the friggin' lawn chair, just snoozing.
I'm surprised that I was able to sleep through it.
What's wrong with your girl, bro?
I know, like
Maybe
I'm just
you had too much too fast.
I was just tired. I was just so tired. Like I couldn't stay awake. Oh yeah, and then this thing happened. So do you guys know Medea Benjamin? Which one is it? Is it this one? Okay, not that one. Not that one. It's this one. Let me make sure I get the right one here. Oh, there it is. So, just, she's praising the squad, guys. She is praising the squad.
Yep, a whole bunch of nothing. That's a bunch of nothing. Good for Medea Benjamin being anti-war her entire career and stopping.
There's a lot of money in activism, guys. There is a lot of money in activism, and she is like not there to protest the squad. She said, "Great to be at an event with the squad," and I'm sorry if you're surprised by that. I'm sorry, but yeah. So that's the thing. Oh, there was this other crazy clip that I saw. Steve, you saw this.
Which one?
With the cop. The cop on the motorcycle.
The cop on the motorcycle.
No, not on the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, no, he was almost on that motorcycle.
Ah, all right. Oh, let's see the video. So, is this the right one? I don't know if this is the right video.
No, it doesn't have a news thing, I don't think.
I don't think this is the right video. Whoops. There was a cop yeah, that's the right video. Okay. It's an NYPD cop.
Yes. Yep, it is.
All right, I'm trying to get.
3887-37777. I can't see it on the screen.
Oh no.
Oh my god! Did you see that? Call right now. Call 311-388-717. 388-717. 388-717.
3887-1717.
Is this license plate of this cop, quote unquote. Look at this guy. Look at him. Oh my god, he's trying to hit him.
Hello, and thank you for calling 311 in New York City. We're here
Oh
to
my
help,
god!
but if this
Did you
is
see
an
that?
emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Today, Sunday, alternate side parking and parking meter rules are suspended. Tomorrow, Monday, alternate side parking.
Call right now. Call 311-388-717. 388-717. 388-717.
So, that's what they're taking the time to do.
388-1717.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's just freaking nuts. Like,
That is fucking crazy. Fucking asshole cop, man. Jesus.
So I don't know if you guys remember, like a couple of days ago, there was that guy who had a U-Haul truck, and he drove into like DC, and they were like, he was going after the president.
Life in the circus ain't easy.
So they just like drastically dropped all the charges, and after they called him a white supremacist, and they had the Nazi flag and everything. I'm like, felt like a psyop, and then they just kind of like dropped the whole thing. Yeah, the brown Nazi.
That's right. But the people on the outside don't know.
So like, I'm like, all right, so their psyop didn't work. What's the next one? You know what I mean? Like, where are they going? Where are they going next with this? Because the U-Haul thing didn't work, and then they just dropped it.
They kind of messed up on the brown Nazi part, really. If we're honest, is an Indian kid who wants to be a Nazi, really? From Indiana or something?
Yeah, I mean, people were just like, this is a false flag. I mean, it was just, I mean, like, when do they ever lay it out? Like evidence? They're like, let me just lay it out nice and pretty.
Like, what's your problem? I do not like Biden, buddy.
So, yeah, that didn't work. So, I saw that they put one of the guys from J6. They just put him in jail for 14 years. He didn't even go inside. So, I don't know
Yeah, so be careful what you talk about, everybody. Apparently talking about doing things is tantamount to prison time.
And we talked about it before, how there's
learn to shut the fuck up, man. Jesus, I say some stupid shit sometimes.
There's that train that, like, all those chemicals went missing. Remember, like
what chemical?
The 30 tons of explosives that went missing.
Wait, how many tons did it take to blow up the fucking Oklahoma building?
What did you just say before that?
Many tons
what did you say before?
How many tons?
What did you say before that? What did you say before that? What did you say before that? That maybe you should be careful what you say.
About stupid. I say stupid things.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from, the other day. I did cover this, but I'm just, like, there's this happening, right? Like, so 30-ton shipment of explosives is just missing. They just disappeared. So that's happening. I mean, so like, there's a couple of things that, like, we should be keeping an eye on.
Okay. Quiet down now. You can't say that more than once.
The Washington Times saying that the 50 senators are getting satellite phones. So like, that's happening at the same time. I'm just putting these things out there. I'm not saying they're connected.
No,
but I'm just saying we should maybe be paying attention to just some of this, because I mean, like, why are they getting satellite phones for security measures and shit?
So I wanted to answer something that Chris put up and redacted. Ultimately, yes, in the Indian caste system, there's definite racism and probably fucking brown Nazis, but it's an entirely different thing. It's not.
It was just weird. The whole thing was weird around, like, how they did the whole U-Haul thing.
Could carry over, sure. I don't see why, a young brown man from, the United States couldn't hate our president. It seems reasonable.
But it was just the way that they framed everything around him, and then I mean, it just
a little weird.
It was like, did they send the wrong guy or something? Like,
they're not doing the best job with their.
The narrative didn't seem to fit
their PSI.
What was happening? Yeah. So yeah, like the Senate issues at least 50 satellite phones as a security measure. Like, so that's happening. Like, why are they doing this?
Why are they doing that? How many tons of it?
A lot.
A lot. So tons.
Like 30 tons or something?
30 tons out of a rail car, huh?
Yeah.
Just like Breaking Bad, the train never stopped. They just got it. Seems plausible.
And this is from the 22nd. And then, it says more than 50 senators have accepted satellite phones for emergency communications as part of a growing effort to beef up security for lawmakers in the wake of the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol.
It's insanity to give that guy 18 fucking years or whatever the fuck he got. That's
I don't know what, I didn't look at his personal, his actual, court case or anything, but they said he didn't enter the building.
They got the undependables to do it.
So, yeah, so they're getting this, and they're saying, they're tying it back to January 6th, and, a lot of the people from January 6th are, getting long sentences, longer than, predators, that's just weird.
V.S. Adams has a more specific total weight. It's called a shit ton.
Yes.
Exactly 1 shit ton.
And then, they bought up a bunch of, in 2022, they bought up a bunch of radiation pills to save lives, following a nuclear fallout. So, we're really being pushed, that this whole nuclear fallout, they're getting satellite phones, they're getting, this is 2022, they're preparing, making sure that they have the radiation pills. I mean, I'm kind of wow, there's some things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why only 50 of them? The other 51 are no, why are they not getting them? Maybe because they already had them. Maybe they had them from the last scare.
Possibly. Breaking, 50 U.S. senators get satellite phones. Also breaking, 50 other U.S. senators have questions. Voicemail, okay?
Where can you... Okay, so Getbox wants to know, where can I go to educate myself to get better at identifying psyops? Ooh.
I believe there are a couple of websites that are helpful in at least figuring out if certain things are happening. And I don't recall what the fucking name of it is, but I remember reading a site where if you went down this little Reddit trail, it had names and lists of different operations from certain agencies and stuff, so you could check it against an actual a data sheet to see if the thing that you were reading about actually fell in one operation or another. And it's kind of a way to verify certain things that you couldn't otherwise verify.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different places. I think that you will start to pick them up when you start to, if you are paying more attention, then you'll start to notice the psyops, because you'll notice that the evidence of that doesn't really fit. Something's happening here. Something doesn't feel that doesn't seem right. And talk to people and see what they're kind of feeling it, how they're feeling it out too.
What's a fun thing to do also is in the shows that you're watching on the MSM or on the MSM Lite, as it were, in certain indie media circles, if you listen with the ear to hear how many times they mention certain keywords.
Oh man, there are certain shows where I just hear keyword after keyword after keyword.
It's nuts. If you actually are conscious of it and you're thinking about it, you can't unhear it once you start hearing.
Yeah, I know it sucks because once you start thinking
how many times are they going to say that?
Yeah, we don't need to say it. We don't need to get the wizard.
I'm not going to contribute to it. It's just that's the 15th time.
Just pay attention. How many times do you hear the same repetitive words over and over again on certain shows?
They're super popular words. You know them all.
Yeah,
love them.
You'll hear them across
Top
the board.
40.
So yeah, the U.S. spent $290 million in anti-radiation pills to save lives after a nuclear emergency.
What? Mushrooms and Yepex and acid molly and Emily and weed and what?
Are we naming
And
our
DMT.
our shopping list?
I think that's the shopping salties. All right.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
The U.S. just spent $290 million on anti-radiation pills to save lives following radiation and nuclear emergencies. So if it's going to save our lives, then why don't we have it?
Why don't we have it?
Why wasn't it distributed to all of us?
I don't know. Safe and effective. Exactly. Free and fair. Fair and free.
Oh my God. Stop. Don't start saying all the keywords.
Keywords.
Oh
Lumpkin.
my God.
So,
what goes along with that? What goes along with having anti-radiation stuff? And, there's all those train chemicals that are missing. So who knows what's happening there? Satellite phones. What would you think of would be the next thing?
What was the first thing?
Where are you going to go if something happens, Steve?
Somewhere else.
Where?
I don't know.
What would you do?
I would, it depends on what it is that happens, I suppose.
They're talking about nukes. They're getting the nuke meds. They're getting the satellite phones.
Nuke meds. Well, if it's nukes, then I hope it fucking pops off in Groton so we don't have to fucking deal with it. That would be better.
So, then, you have to think about where the nuclear bunkers.
I'm not trying to go to no nuclear motherfucking nothing, man. I want to be nuclear particles if we get nuked. Please just.
But listen.
Done.
Here's the thing.
Ding. Level up.
So this is from around this is something that they've been pumping up like for a while. And the first paragraph of this is from 2022. But still, listen, since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine late February, concerns over potential use of nuclear weapons has grown. Specifically designed bunkers that may provide some degree of protection to people in the event of a nuclear attack. So I'm just saying they've been pumping this like stuff at us for a while. With the nuclear stuff, I'm not saying that there's going to be something nuclear that's happening, but I'm just saying that I'm noticing a trend of all this stuff kind of like building up to, and all the same language that we're talking about. And then like they're getting satellite phones. They're prosecuting people for long periods of time for J6, and they're attributing it to that. And
they call that fucking him talking to someone sedition. What are we in the fucking 1700s? Really? That is just fucking mind-blowing to me. That is just fucking what the fuck.
And they're saying that hackers are going after our infrastructure at the same time too.
Yeah.
And they're saying that like China's doing it, and there's a massive cyber attack on Microsoft. So I'll pull that up. I'm not going to go through all of it, but like, it's just that there's a lot of factors and a lot of things. And I'm just saying like, hey, like just pay attention. Because I don't trust these fuckers. Like, just pay attention and be aware and be safe. And hopefully it's, hopefully we don't go in that direction any further, and hopefully we aren't pushed into that direction. And I don't necessarily trust these places that are putting the information out there either.
No, none of them.
But sometimes they do that because they want people living in that fear bubble.
Well, they always.
I don't think we should be living in a fear bubble, but I think we should be paying attention to the fact that all those chemicals just went missing, and they've been saying all these things this whole time, so.
In the fear bubble.
But would we know that those chemicals were missing if it was really, if something was really going to happen? Or would we know it because they're gonna put that out there so that we're aware of it, and it makes us scared? probably it's probably true that they need a psyop or false flag to get us to war with China. Yeah. I mean, I can't say, like, you know what I mean? Like, but
it was like a shit ton. Exactly.
It's like, be aware, but like, don't let that fear of it control you. You know, like, don't let that, you know, grab a hold of you. I don't want people living in fear that don't need to be living in fear, because it's all they've done for the last few years is push us like, you're not safe.
Ultimately,
you're not safe.
I don't give a fuck anymore. Ever since I've been a child, they've been telling me that the fucking nukes
hide under the desk.
Hide under the desk. They've been saying this since I've been born. I am immune. I am desensitized to nuclear war. If they're gonna do it, then fuck. We're all fucked anyway. So don't fool yourself and think you're gonna just be fine. Because if you're not near the epicenter, then maybe you will be fine.
But they could be putting these things out there just to like get your brain to be afraid, you know, to get that like, oh, you know, and put people out there with more anxiety and causing that angst among people.
Your benzos, everyone.
So, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm just noticing some patterns, and it could be that another psyop is coming. You know, like, it could be something as simple as another psyop is coming.
Yeah, it's not 30,000 pounds. It's like more than that. Like,
do you want me to pull up the amount of that again? I can pull it up.
Was it over 15 tons? Wasn't it?
I thought it was 30.
It was 30 tons, right?
30-ton shipment of explosive chemicals traveling from Wyoming to California by rail disappeared en route, officials say.
Yeah. 30 tons is 60,000 pounds. That's quite a bit more. Twice as much, in fact.
Yeah, I'll pull it up so we can see it. But it's just, you know, like, they could do that without us even knowing. You know what I mean? So it's hard to tell and what it could possibly be, but if we keep our, you know, I mean, we pay attention, then maybe this is how we spot it ahead of time. We notice that there's clues, right?
Yeah. I'm going to record my voice in 3 moods for a writer that I follow on Substack to record a hummingbird story. I told them for an animated something. Should I be afraid? She said. No, don't be afraid. That'll be cool. Let's see. What else we got here? Variant, subvariant. I can't read any of that because it makes my brain hurt and it makes the YouTube break. So, still not too much. You should look and see how much is space per acre of farmland. No, well, for farming, that's probably just enough to do a bunch of big old fields. But for blowing shit up, you need a significantly less amount.
So Zainab said, read the unclassified documents from during the Cold Wars. They had so many operations that were just to keep us afraid. Yeah, there's so much, and I think that's like where it can be overwhelming for people, is to know, like, where do I even start? Like, how do I know, like, it's a trusted source? Like, how do I, you know, like. And we're like, oh yeah, question everything. Question, you know, even the people that are telling you things, even question us. You know what I mean? Like, fact check everybody. So it's like, that's a really big monumental task to kind of, like, you know, to give somebody. It's good to have people to bounce stuff off of, to see, like, where they kind of, like, feel about things, and, like, you know, that's a good way to kind of, you know, figure out whether something, you know, is maybe weird or wonky, and where to go with certain information.
Yeah, remember that explosion we watched the other day on your stream, Salty? That made big boom. Now smaller pile.
Yeah, like 30 tons. That's a lot.
That was a small. I think it was only like 10,000 pounds less than what's missing. But even still, that made a big fucking boom. You know, it makes a big boom. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how much you need to make a boom, but it seems like a lot. seems like that's enough to do some stuff that's not great for people or things.
Yeah, and that's so true. Zainab, I'm like probably behind on this chat. But one thing is that we wouldn't hear about it if the government hadn't released it. They released it for a reason. Otherwise, it would be something they'd not report for crisis management reasons. Yeah. So like sometimes it's like, yeah, gotta like look at all of it. Like, why do they release it sometimes, and why they not release information sometimes? Yeah, when you hear officials say, there's like certain phrases you'll start to pick up on when you're starting to like examine things. And it's not always a comfortable place to be in, right? To not know the answers to things and to want to be, informed on something. It's not always like the most comfortable place to be like, I don't know. But I think it's okay to do that. It's okay to be there and to not know, because that means like, you're recognizing something that you don't know, and you can then decide if you want to go find that information. But like, where does that stuff go? Where does that much product go? That many tons.
Well, it's easy to spread out on a field. That's not a lot for like farming purposes. For making bombs, making things that blow up, it's quite a lot. But for just using, like, agriculturally, the way that they do, they have massive piles of that all over the fucking place. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, anybody could get that. You don't even have to steal it from a train.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. That's what Salty's been telling you the whole time. Like, he was a farmer. Like, that's literally what they use, It's the thing that they do the fields with. Formally accused China of a massive cyber attack on Microsoft. Oh, how do you think Dr. Gates feels about that? 1,800 acres of tomatoes and 2,000 acres of corn. Good fucking luck, buddy. Jesus. That's a lot of what do you call it? Produce? Son of a bitch. That's a lot of maters, man. I love maters. Damn.
I don't.
I need to hook up with Salty. He's got the Mater Connect. He knows how to grow a mater, I bet you. Hey, Oz came back. He could be a dog or a frog or a lesbian queen. He could be a narc or a lady marine, or he might play dirty, or he's over 30. Getting old? Say, I don't know.
All right, we got a couple more things, and
No, just say no more.
We got a couple more things here.
Is she a goer then? Does your Zelensky go? Is she a goer? Eh?
Do you want to see how they're talking about cloud seeding and stuff now? They're like letting you know that it's always been this way. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing to worry about. It's just natural airplane farts. Totally natural.
All of it.
All of it's totally natural airplane farts. And if you don't believe me, you have to go vet it yourself and find out, because I'm not going to tell you where I found out the information. Well, I will, but it was just from a guy who told me that it's just airplane farts and not to worry about it, because it's always been like that. You should tell him.
Yeah, I'm going to play this guy.
All right.
That's going to tell him.
That's where I found out. I believe him.
Is it like unicorn farts or just airplanes?
Well,
right?
Unicorns, airplanes, UFOs. There's all kinds of things in the air farting at all times. I mean, it's called the atmosphere.
It's the cows.
I mean, think about it.
All right. I'm going to play this. Is it up there? Is it on the screen? Yes.
Sure.
All right. Here we go.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. It's not on mine yet, but I'm like fucking 15 minutes behind you or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Warwickshire. Now, a lot of the cloud you can see here is actually aeroplane contrails. Yes, the water that aeroplane
I literally
engines
don't see
chuck
it.
out the back
There
of
it
the
is.
engines can make these contrails. And when there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, 7 miles up where the planes fly, those contrails can persist and last for a long time, giving those beautiful sunrise and sunset pictures. Now, those contrails are starting to move away towards France, and the air is getting drier 7 miles up in the atmosphere, and so you're less likely to see those contrails hang around quite so long today. Warwickshire. Now, a lot of the cloud you can see here is actually aeroplane contrails. Yes, the water that aeroplane engines chuck out the back of the engines can make these contrails. And when
just totally like just normal, right? It's just normal that you have and they just make the beautiful sunsets, those lines in the sky.
It didn't have any sound? Really? I think it had sound, but it wasn't very loud.
Yeah, it's not really loud.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Because Salty said cum trails.
Yeah, he did say cum trails.
Let me see if it was up all the way.
I like those permaculture hydroponic deals where you got the fish in them, but if you get the ick real bad, it can ruin the whole thing. Fuck up your plants too. It's not cool, man. So there has to be a way to deal with that as well. I don't know. I never thought of that.
So yeah, this guy is gaslighting people into thinking that, yeah, it's just totally normal that, the sky looks like plaid, right? Like, yeah, that's it.
In Tasmania, we would go grab sticks from the cloud seeding rockets to make kites. That was like 1960, Oz said. What the fuck, dude? It has been. It's just the same as it's always been, right? Come on. Little ammonium nitrate up in the sky is fine.
Yeah,
it's airplane farts, man.
It's just crazy how, like, it's like, yeah. It's,
snail farts.
Yeah, they just act like it's totally normal and, like, gaslight you into thinking, yeah, whatever. They've always been there. Always been there.
See you, YepX. Don't work hard.
And just in case you were wondering, in case you're like, man, when can I get one of those tiny homes near me? And, I want to go and get it all in one. I can get it. Walmart is getting into tiny homes. Yep. The on the move Walmart home brand is selling tiny homes on wheels with 4 rooms, but it costs a whopping $100,000.
On the move. Is that because your house has wheels?
Yes, it is a tiny home and it has wheels.
So it's on the move. Get your
Notice how it's not
house out of here, bitch.
It's not 4 bedrooms, it's 4 rooms. So like they're like really like, it's not really like very big. It's definitely a tiny little, like, one room is the bathroom. Like that is a room. And then because the bathroom has its own, thing, and then that makes the bedroom its own room because the bathroom has a door.
Salty's using subterranean. He's going to use shipping containers as soon as he can to build subterranean housing for us all, because we're just going to go out there and have to squat his mountain that he lives on and help him grow giant weed plants and vegetables.
Okay.
And ducks, because he has ducks.
I love ducks.
Yeah. And frogs,
so
probably.
Yeah. Apparently, you can get one from Walmart now, like the $100,000. I thought they were supposed to be like
buy a hell of a double wide for $100,000.
Yeah, you can buy you can get like an actual like RV or whatever.
You could get a nice ass RV. You could buy did you see that one? It's like the newest, nicest overland fucking crazy camper thing. It's like $1 million for it. But they have another one that's like almost as nice. It's like $500,000. You get one of those and then you're really what do you call it? What was it? Something about the on the move. and you're really on the move. It actually has an engine and all the things.
Yeah, then you can actually go somewhere.
You could actually be on the move if you can, afford the gas or diesel. I think it was a diesel engine. It was beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
And I have
in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on a pavement thinking about the government.
I have this wonderful picture, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And this is not my cat. I don't ever want this to happen to my cat, but this is hilarious that it happened to this cat. Like, how do you get these off the cat?
I'm with an electrostatic bead remover, of course.
Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna try to vacuum the cat?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Are you gonna use a lint roller or tape, to get those off of the cat? Because they are statically stuck to the cat. I had that happen to a ferret once. Actually, his name was Burrito. And he got little styrofoams all over him. Just like that. I think I wet him down or something.
Yeah, if you got a really staticky pussy, you don't want to get that many styrofoam balls up in there. Just saying. If you have a really staticky pussy, I mean, not everybody does, as far as I know.
Yeah, exactly. Now freaking tiny homes are all trendy and shit. It's like, you want to make something out of natural materials, like you want to make a straw bale, home or something. Like, it's trendy. It's something that like they're.
It is super trendy. Salty. You should be digging. You should be making the ones that are above the ground for the Airbnb for all the yuppies coming to fucking ganja wine country.
The Hobbit home things.
Yeah. And then you go and then you make your own underground where nobody could see you, where you could hang out with your static pussy and whatever.
Yeah, that's not my cat. Thankfully.
Be careful cat packing. Exactly. When you pack your pussy, make sure get the larger styrofoam. It's easier on the kitty. You want to get the peanut size.
So that same artist, that guy that rapped earlier.
Yeah.
There's one other video that I wanted to play as we go out for the evening. You guys, this is great. This guy is this guy is so fantastic. He says it all. And then like the end, man. Oh, the end. I didn't show this to Steve either. So
okay, so we love you and thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll be back on Sunday, and before then, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll probably play a set here and there, and we'll see you then.
So I'm gonna make sure that I put the link to this channel in the chat. You guys should all go over and give them a like and subscribe if you like their stuff. I think it was great. Is it showing?
Thanks, everybody.
Is it showing up yet?
We shall see you very soon.
This was just so telling. You haven't even heard this yet, Steve.
Everybody keep your pussy static and have fun playing with your monkey.
Oh my God. All right. We love you guys. I'm going to mute.
Much love.
Check out luckyburritoart.com. We put more stuff up there.
Yeah.
And it's still 20% off through the 31st. So there's still
got like a week.
Through next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah. So Mom 20 is the gift card, is the code to use to save 20% off on our store because we are self-supported. We don't have any sponsors or anyone else telling us what to do, think, or say.
We have a few Patreon people and they don't boss us around at all.
Really don't.
Very much.
No.
Not at all.
No, I love them.
We love you all. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Watch it.
Man, you think I come in with man, I wish that I was just okay. Man, I wish that I was as smart as celebrities. Imagine having all that brain power. The things they can do in 1 minute. If I were to do it, it'd take hours. They're on a whole nother level when it comes to being a bold intellectual, so intelligible. I have trouble keeping up with them. They deserve gold medals. They have such big heads. And I don't mean egotistical. I mean that the brains are so big, it's probably hard for it to even fit in their skull. And that's why they're always high strung and freaking out at the paparazzi. It ain't cause they're mean, it's just cause their brain's so goddamn big that it's always throbbing. We're constantly solving our country's problems. What would we do without them? I don't know. We'd be stuck on a big piece of land that nobody here has a clue how to run. We'd be fucked. And how would you know who to vote for without somebody telling you? You probably have to do your own research. Now that's bullshit you don't want to delve into. You probably have to go and actually look at the policies of each individual candidate to make sure y'all agree and see if you be cool with everything they would do, because if they fuck up, who's paying for it? You, us, ordinary civilians. Look at the debt, we're buried in trillions. Their children are gonna be set, but yours, they ain't inheriting millions. I don't know, man. Everyone has an opinion, but who in their right minds would trust somebody who acts for a living? The ones who are posting on Twitter, you ain't in my circle if you fake, are the same ones who take life advice from people that are literally two-faced. I got a toothache, cause I'm always biting my tongue. If I don't stop, I'll chew through the bitch. Yes, everybody has an opinion, but yours happens to be stupid as shit. The ones who live the most privileged life are the very last ones that should give advice. It's easy to tell little folks what to do when you're up top looking at the city lights. You and I are total polar opposites. I'm a nobody, no one knows I exist. You're a multi-million-dollar mogul making loads of money. If you want it, you buy it. I gotta second guess myself if I wanna go splurge and buy Chick-fil-A. The amount I could save if I went to Wendy's is a big deal to me. It's like night and day. Why the hell would I listen to you? I'm broke as fuck and you're filthy rich. Nothing affects you the way it affects me, so I don't wanna hear your silly shit. Fuck you. I don't buy into your fake smile whenever you talk to the camera. Listen to you, I'd rather have Governor watch my grandma. You live in the bubble, it's been a minute since you've been through the struggle. You lost your touch, you must be off that stuff if you think you and I have things in common. Fuck your pretentious self. Nobody asked you for your hand or to lend your help. If you want everything to be so equal, then hey, how about you spread the wealth? You got a lot, you don't need all that. Folks on the block, they could eat off that. Instead of endorsing people you don't know shit about, how about you fork it up and give a little back? I ain't talking about giving out turkeys, I'm talking about big amounts, earnings. Walk the streets and start handing out wads of relief instead of just interviewing. Bitch, look at all these activists. Y'all must be college graduates. I wonder what kind of law you practice, or do you just study politics? I'm asking because you know so much. No, you don't. I speak on behalf of a vast majority. We don't want to hear you lecture us about shit. Don't act like you have authority. Please don't. Just act accordingly. Stick to acting and rapping horribly. You're so detached from normalcy, nothing you say is that important to me. I ain't talking about all of them, though. This is just a select few. There's also a lot that work in silence, and just so you know, I respect you. The stage you accept your Oscar on ain't a platform for you to talk so long. Take your trophy and shove it up your ass, say thank you, and keep on walking along. The moment that I become famous and rich and I'm living the life of Riley, when it comes to politics, I'll shut the fuck up. Because I know that most situations won't apply to me.
Man, I was... Son of a bitch. What the fuck? We got him.
Fuck you.
Yeah, he's a thinker. Yeah, well, he's out here thinking.
Go fuck yourself.
You want us to kill him or pay him?
Calvin, can we watch it?